Yeah, that looks good. So that's how we'll be seen.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I can do it.
So I bang the door and comes on in.
yeah. Go to pockets.
Yeah. Oh, that's there, graphics. Just make sure everything's in place where it needs to be before I mess up that. Click between those two. That's on there. Sweet. Well, panic based thing. Always alright. Everything's on before we start.
Yeah, that's the thing, mate, isn't it? I was just saying, like.
But we just start to go, right, guys, welcome to our third podcast, the FRV Podcast, and this is our first attempt to film it, so you have to bear with us. We might mess up from time to time, but hopefully it should be all right. So my actual name's Chan. I'm 25, run a clothing business, and actually do a lot of building work.
Carl. Yeah, I'm 41, tattoo artist, ex-forces. So yeah, I'd like to touch on that.
Yeah, which is obviously going to be a big aim for this podcast. I think good things about why me and Carl are doing this podcast is mainly because we see a lot of podcasts out there on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so on, and they talk about a lot of interesting things. But one topic I think they miss out on quite a bit is men's mental health.
Yeah.
And we kind of want to create a platform where men can and women, it's not a bias thing. Women can talk if they struggle, but mainly, men whose voices are not heard, which we all know happens quite a lot in marriages, relationships, and single men as well, and especially ex-forces as well. As both of us are ex-forces, we know that is actually quite a big struggle for some people. So we want to create a kind of a podcast, a group, a family where people can openly talk and not be judged on, your thoughts, feelings, facts, queries, stuff like that. You can have somewhere where you can actually talk to us. And even if you go ahead and check out the email on the bottom that just pops up there, if you do have any struggles or anything, and you just want someone to talk to and questions you need answering, email that email address there, and we will get back to you. So yeah, I mean, mainly we want to try to fight men's mental health, create a platform to speak, offer advice, ideas that both of us could have. Also, like I said, it's not just ex-military, it's all men out there. From time to time, we will have guests on here, people that call in and so on and stuff like that. So that should keep things interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we understand like the spectrum for mental health, issues or PTSD. The spectrum's massive. So you don't have to feel alienated. It's not combat PTSD or anything like that. Just if you've got anything from trauma to to combat PTSD to any experience that's triggered that if you have that condition or anything like that, or you just you feel like you need to speak up, or you're in an environment where from like myself, ex-forces and come from a lot of boxing background and mixed martial arts and stuff like that. So fighters, it's such a sort of area where I mean, they're afraid to speak their feelings sometimes if it's not they've got sort of like macho, well, we said toxic masculinity in it.
Oh yeah, big thing at the moment. Tough guys can be upset as well.
Yeah,
and it's completely normal.
Yeah, man.
And you can speak to everyone about. And I think the first topic we want to touch on today is what struggles do men have with mental health that women maybe do not have to struggle with. And we've gone with this topic just because it's a big thing that a lot of people are talking on. And it's not a shame on women's mental health or anything like that. It's just, I think women can talk about it a lot easier than men can.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot easier. And it's not even, even like, with kind of stigmas today and stuff like that, men don't want to necessarily talk about their mental health with their relationships, families. They struggle with their friends and stuff like that. And we kind of want to go into why we think.
Definitely, buddy. Yeah. I mean, that's that it is a big one, isn't it? Because I think it's a shame when we've got friends that are like builders or just normal blokes. It's like, especially when we grew up, from it's just you can never get allowed to talk about everything. Whereas for me, I grew up, I've got four daughters, so for me it's just like but it's a funny thing because I've never struggled with communicating my emotions, or bloody hell, what's a great showman, and crying my eyes out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, for me, touch wood is it's but yeah, for some guys, it is unfortunately a massive issue still now. Like I said before, when we were in the forces and stuff, it was. It was never spoken about, or even PTSD. It was like, oh no, crack on and don't speak about that. But in the second tour of Iraq, it was like we were doing exercise and you see blokes just snapping. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, so it's there, and it is unfortunately something that's still taboo. Well, in some environments, lads still don't want to talk about it, mate.
Yeah. So that's the thing. You think kind of growing up in schools and stuff like that, being told man up and stuff like that. If you, ex-military know, and if you're currently serving, you'll know that you definitely can't speak about it when there. Can't show any weakness. It's not allowed. You're not allowed to. If you're a man, you're not allowed.
You shed them tears.
Yeah.
But it's a hard one, but like I said, it's for me, it's. I wish there was more, more platforms, or
where people can talk about it, because that's the thing as well. Like we were saying, what we were talking about other podcasts, is they talk about a lot of interesting things that goes on around the world, but there's a lot of big topics out there that's not being covered, and I think this is one of them. It's ridiculous. I don't understand why it's not being covered and why it's not being helped to be fixed.
Because for me, like, a personal one for me is like with my girls, got divorced, and and this is another one which I think is a massive trigger. It's like my ex-wife has come between me and my daughters, and I've never missed any part of their life. I've never missed a school play. I've never missed anything in their life, and we amicably divorced, and now, mate, it's like, I don't know, like she can get between me and my girls and manipulate them into not wanting to see me, filling their heads with this,
classic one.
And that's a massive thing, and that's like this Fathers for Justice and stuff like that. Like that is a huge thing. From it does come under sort of, well, it's not mental health, but it's like it's a massive trigger, mate.
It's a big trigger for me.
And then that's why, like the same, the suicide rate for PTSD or it's just as big, because dads want to see their kids. Do you know what I mean? But women seem to always, even if you go through mediation or whatever, I've made spent thousands through mediation, and the woman don't turn up, his missus didn't turn up, but yet she's not liable for the cost or anything, and he still doesn't get to see his kids. And
the thing is,
that's huge, man.
In a lot of the cases, when are the women liable?
Well, this is it, mate. This is what I'm saying. In relationship, like, I saw her name, but she said it was an immigrant, and she said on the podcast, like, I think if a woman comes between the father and her kids, a genuine daddy wants to be there, there should be a crime. And I thought, you know what? I've never heard anyone over here say that. I thought, you know what?
That's a good idea. I actually only heard that probably a couple of weeks ago, saying that actually should be a crime. Because even like now, everyone knows, social media might not like that, I'm going to say that, but obviously Tate brothers are now free. And it come out that the two girls that were messaging and, ended up helping them get locked up, come out false allegations and stuff like that. Are they going to be held accountable for those? Well, probably not.
Well, this is it, mate. It's so hard, because like, so when there are genuine cases where but then someone can cry wolf and have a man's freedom taken away. And I think it's the same. I think the system in the UK or worldwide, it should be, if a man genuinely wants to see his kids, it's you shouldn't have to go through me. It shouldn't cost money. There should be something in place where a man can just see his kid. It's a tough one, mate, because for me, that's a massive thing. Like, that's why at the moment, like, my sort of roller coaster with emotions and my sort of mental state at the moment is because my ex-partners are coming to me, my girls, So that is a massive, massive one for me.
Never strip a man of his kids.
Mate, exactly. I could handle that for Afghan, Iraq. That's done, but when a man doesn't get to see his kids, mate, it's a killer. So that's a massive, it's a massive thing for me at the minute. But again, that's a huge one. Why blokes are taking their lives and stuff like that, mate. Just as much.
Absolutely.
And
I mean, COVID, because of COVID, so many men were alone on their own because of all of this. Now, even during, what was it, 2021? I think I lost 3 mates to suicide.
Yeah, mate.
One of them, because of exactly that, caught his missus cheating.
Yeah.
Behind his back and stuff like that. So he was home alone during COVID. He's no longer here now. It's and it's not spoken about.
No, yeah. You know, I think that is it, mate. I think COVID coming, like, I mean, when you touched about on sort of proud on it. It's like, I think COVID has made people so much more antisocial and sort of reclusive almost. And then now it's all like dating apps because, like you said, people don't want to go out and interact with other humans anymore. So
they freak out with each other.
Swipe, and then it's
Oh yeah, Tinder. That's what it's about now. Everyone's on Tinder swiping.
Yeah.
I don't get how you're going to get any good social interactions like that. It's crazy. But then that's one of the things why men, I think anyway, men can't speak about it because a lot of guys will say, and I think even a lot of women are waking up to it now, is a lot of women, when you do try to speak about your feelings, they then see you as weak. And you're not the man they kind of see. And the thing is, there'll be people watching now that will probably sit there and go, no, my man can talk about it. I'm open to this stuff. Like you say that, but for the amount of women that you see on social media, Fresh and Fit podcast, even Tate's podcast, Just Pearly Things podcast, little shout outs there. Go watch these guys. But it's things like that. So many women go on there and they say this to them. And the women start off and go, I don't mind. My husband, boyfriend, partner, whatever, can speak to me openly, and I'm fine with that. And then they touch on it a bit more, and they say, really, would you actually be okay with that? And they go, well, I would see him maybe as a bit weaker, and I don't want my man coming crying to me. And this is one of the big problems. If you can't open up in the safety of your own home, where can these men open up?
Exactly, mate. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, I went from one extreme to the other myself, actually. So my ex-partner, she never let me speak about Afghan or Iraq, and it wasn't because it was too painful to her to hear. It was just she just didn't care, So now, but with my partner now, it's just like I can speak to her about anything, mate. I cry probably once or twice a day. It sets me off. Do you know what I mean? So, and I can be, it's like look, so to me, I'm 6 foot, 21 stone, boxing, done all sorts, and so I feel like I can. I'm touch wood. I'm one of the lucky ones where I can just be myself.
I'm in the same situation now. I can actually, but the thing is how long did it take you to find that one? Do you know what I mean? When you think about it,
it's, years. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But, 41, it took me 41 years to find it, mate. Yeah.
That's fair. I've been with my missus now 7 years, but even at first, the first kind of year or so, you're kind of figuring out how open you can be. Like you just said, I'm one of the lucky ones as well. I can go back and speak about it, but then I think this is what. This podcast is good because now we've got to that place. We've now got the advice to help men hopefully get to that place as well.
I mean, 100%, buddy. And I think, like you said, that's if you're not with someone who you can be that way around, then I think my former relationship lasted for 15 years. We got 3 beautiful kids together, but when I was away in the Middle East doing security and stuff like that, and I'm out the country for 9 months a year, there's nothing to argue about, and then you come home and now it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe we're not as compatible as we thought we were, and it wasn't, and that was, like I said, one of the last things I remember we sort of said to each other before I left, and it was, she said to me, no one gives a fuck about what you did in Afghan and Iraq, you know what I mean, and that's a big trigger button for me, you know what I mean, because that's so much of my life, it's like 16 years of my life. And I'm like, no, don't go there. We're done.
And it becomes a big part of your personality as well, doesn't it?
Mate,
that's a huge part of who you are.
Yeah. So for me, I've probably spoke more about what we did in the military and security in the last 5 years being with my partner now than I've ever my whole life. So a lot of stuff has come to the surface for me, mate. Like I said before, it's like.
And I wonder how many women maybe hopefully are listening to this, or maybe sat there thinking, "Holy shit." I'm doing that. I'm not letting my partner speak up about this and stuff, and that's why.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
that's it. It's like it's not just about the men. It's like there's so many things. Like I heard this woman on the podcast the other day. She's like, "Oh well, if you want a CEO, like you said, if you want a CEO, you've got to do his cooking, his cleaning, his washing." And I was like, "Mate, I own my own company." Like my own business, I've got 2 shops, I'm 41 years old, I'm ex-forces, I can cook for myself, do you know what I mean? I don't need a woman who's going to be subservient to me, and, but if that was a man going, well, I walk through the door, I want my woman, behind the cooker as soon as I get in, mate, it'd be game over, so.
It's more than welcome to then kick off about, obviously. Well, I think a lot of the things as well, like, you're probably similar. Like in my relationship, if maybe I'm not working, if I'm working at home, you know, not really out busting my ass during the day, I'll make sure the house is clean.
Oh, mate,
and I'll maybe cook, and then vice versa. You know, she and stuff like that. She'll keep it clean, and we work together that way. But I think a lot of what kind of triggers a lot of men at the moment is a lot of women kind of now they're working more than they used to and so on, which is great, obviously great. But a lot of men who maybe it's friends we surround ourselves with. I don't know. I can't speak for all men, but a lot of the men I know will balance work and home life quite good. But now women are now that they're starting to work more, they don't want to do any home life whatsoever. Now they're like, I'll come home, I'm a bit of a breadwinner now. I'm not, you do this, you do all the washing up, you'll do that. And I've even got friends now that I meet up with in the evenings. I'll speak to. I won't say their names, but they've even told me stories like, you know, they've been at work all day, they come back, they sit down, and then Mrs. goes, "Well, it's your turn to do dishes then." So you've not been working for the last week, so can't you just do it?
Exactly.
But if you spin that around and say that to the women, all hell breaks loose.
Because it's that old stereotype, isn't it? You know, the same, you know, 1920s. It is. But I think again, that's like a lot of things. You know, where I grew up and where we grew up, sort of, you know, people who become a product of your environment, and you can be, but that's not for, you know, and I think it's the same in relationships. It's like, well, you know, you can, I don't know, it's a fine line because, you know, like I said, being ex-forces, I think, you know, you're very self-reliant, you know, cook, clean, I can iron, we can do everything, you know. So for me, it's never an issue, but again, there's going to be women that don't want to do it, and there's going to be men that don't, you know, so it's a 50-50 thing, isn't it? And I think it's like, I mean, sometimes it is hard, you know, when you don't want to be the one that turn around and go, oh, well, you know, well, that's what. But I won't say my partner, but so that's why I ended up buying a dishwasher. I love the woman dearly, but so we were like, let's just get a dishwasher because, you know, I would leave some dishes. And I thought, see how long, you know, because I thought, you know, it's like we've been at work and stuff like that, and I'll be like, I'm just going to see how long that'll get, and then it starts growing mold and. You know, the bacon can walk off its own. I'm like, okay, I better wash it. But there'll be days where if I'm at, you know, but again, it's like everything, and I think in a relationship where you could be at 50-50, like it's you know, for instance, like, you know, back at the beginning of the year, you know, I've come back from my knee surgery and I was, you know, a bit quiet at work and stuff like that. Like, I was quiet, but my partner, bless her, she was really busy, so you know, she supported a little bit more financially, and vice versa. She's going through a quiet patch, you know. I'm busy, so. It's everything, you know. I think when you're in a relationship, it's like you just it's trying to find that 50-50 in an ideal world, but it doesn't always work.
There's a lot of communication. I think that's a problem as well. There isn't communication. If you sit down and actually communicate to each other, because I know women do like to, you know, throw hints and not say. Ladies, throwing hints at a man is not going to work. But even saying that, I mean, my missus Tom throw hints, and I absolutely know that's just throwing hints, and I choose to ignore them on purpose. Because I sit there and think, I sit there and think, if you want something, you tell me, not wait for me, get mad, you know. Not that she does now, but don't wait for me to try and figure out what you want. Come in and say, right, I'm unhappy about this, or I'm happy about this, and I want that, I want this. Can we go and do it? And the majority of men will get it done.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty, I think 5 years into my relationship now, we are quite lucky that it's just sort of like my partner knows she's like, if she wants something done, or she just just communicate with me and get it done. So I mean, again, I'm not painting myself as perfect. I mean, I'm not perfect, but
none of us are.
You know, but I'm pretty good. You know, I mean, for the most part, I am the cleaner, to be fair, because I like a clean home. So I'll tinker around, put the dishes in the morning, and make a cup of tea. So I'll do things while I'm there, or if I'm making, I load the dishwasher up and it's done. You know.
I need a dishwasher.
We've got 2 massive dogs as well. So, mate, I'm the one who's always out with the Hoover. It's hard, mate. Yeah, but again, it's just I don't know, mate. It's that 50-50 thing, and it's
without it can create difficulty, and then that's might be in some situations as well. Why, if a man, you know, not all men these days, we know, but if a man is working all day, come back, and then you know, his missus is like, oh, you need to do this now, you need to do that now, you need to do that now. Maybe just consider how tired and knackered he is, and maybe just do a few extra things just to make it a bit easier. And then it comes down to maybe that's why he might not be communicating with you, talking to you about how he feels. You might ask him a lot, "Oh, how's your day?" But I mean, if you've let him come home after a 10-hour shift, made him go and wash up, do this, do all the other stuff, he ain't gonna have time to express his feelings to you. He's gonna be too emotionally and mentally drained by then.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think again, it's I'm sort of quite lucky that way. I must admit, you know.
Well, you can communicate about
it. Yeah, definitely communicate. Yeah, I think sometimes our neighbours must feel, because like sometimes when we missus, like, you know, how we communicate to each other is sometimes it might sound like we're arguing, but yeah.
I like to throw things.
That way you can
across the room. Talking to you.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, I'm quite lucky, mate, myself. But again, there are people that, like I said, there are people in that situation. If you're doing shift work, or you know, there are relationships where you might be passing ships, mate. You know, people like NHS or anyone sort of working. I feel the two
day and night shifts and stuff like that.
Yeah, you just literally
you walk in as she's leaving, and that can create a lot of tension and and things like that. But
yeah, definitely.
I think that's the problem. One of the main problems is a lot of men can't talk about how they're feeling, but it can come down to home life. If you're not living in a 50-50 relationship, then maybe he's not going to speak out because he just wants to deal with what he's going through and give yourself a different version of himself that can still cope with of what's happening in his own life.
It does go on, mate, definitely, yeah.
And I think thing is, not being able to speak out starts so young as well. It starts from when you're a kid. And I done a video not too long ago on my TikTok about it, about kind of, you're probably the same. Like, maybe the younger generation is not so much now because there's a lot more male teachers. But growing up, I was surrounded by female teachers. I was influenced by femininity up until I was about 16 years old. And especially if you're in single mother homes, because the majority, I can't remember the statistics, so I won't say just in case I'm wrong. But it is a very high percentage of single children that come from single mother homes don't do well in life. They do quite bad. They end up in prison, murder, stuff like. Not saying they're doing it wrong, but it shows that you need the man there. And then this is why I come into like schools and stuff like that, because growing up it was females telling me to man up. You have to do this. Think about how she's feeling. You need to understand why is she happy about it. It's always what she needs and what she wants.
Okay, mate.
Which as a man, I think you always want everything for your partner and so on and stuff like that. But growing up, it's strange that in schools it was surrounded by so many females. And and the statistic on this is correct. It's something like 50. I think it's like 55% of men are subjected to 100% female influence throughout the majority of like Western, like America, us, and so on, like Western society. That's the statistics for it. And when I read that, it blew my mind. I was like, wow. I was like, in fact, that you haven't got that gender counterbalance in schools is why, because maybe if you had more male teachers, and then maybe that's a fault on our part. Why ain't more men being teachers?
Well, again, it just comes again. Like I said before, it almost that comes down to being a product of your own environment. Where we grew up, it was like not many of us did have a dad at home. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of made you feel like a little bit better, so, because there was only one or two of my mates that had a dad at home. So mate, it's but again, it's that, like, even my older brothers, they all moved out, had relationships, and they moved out quite young. So and then obviously my dad went on the scene. So but like a lot of us, so I kind of it was that not having that strong sort of male role, I suppose. It can be, and you turn to other things. So. I totally get it, buddy.
But that's the thing. It's a confusing thing because obviously I post. I think I post videos that everyone likes sometimes. But no, I get a lot of female commenting and saying you can't blame women that men can't speak and stuff like that. And it's like, no, you can't blame women. But in saying that, so like I said, I'd say maybe like kind of 20 years old people today, 20 years old and then up, were kind of subjected to a majority of female influences growing up, and it was those females that were telling us, "Oh, man up, do this and do that." It comes from males as well, but me personally, as a personal experience, growing up, it was
Yeah.
always females that were telling me these things.
Right.
And so I'm thinking, where did they get that from?
Well, this is it, mate. Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, no, I totally get it, buddy. Yeah. I've never really thought about it. I mean, I suppose, like I said, we all grew up just with, you know, single parent households, like our mums and stuff, that sort of raised us. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard, you know, for me, even like with my mum and that, you know, like it did put a strain on, you know, I suppose our relationship. And then obviously I've got a different dad to my two brothers and my sister. So
yeah,
growing up, my mum, you know, blamed, and then she did. Like, generally, like she took it out on me because I looked different to my dad was a big guy.
yeah.
You know, and I looked different to my two brothers and my sister. So you know, my mum made that evident to me growing up. So yeah, that's why I joined the forces so young, mate. You know, I joined, but again, it just for me, it kind of, you know, you can go one way or the other. Like, you know, like we said before, Pels was like, you know, good men can go bad, and you can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had the same thing like you did. Growing up, I went to an all-boys school. For me personally, I didn't have with the female thing. It was like I didn't, you know, I suppose I didn't really sort of like really clock that. You know, I went to an all-boys school. Went, you know, grew up in a council estate where, you know, so it was like you can go one way or the other, you know. And I think I was quite lucky that, you know, I found rugby from a young age. Joined the you know, the armed forces, you know, from like 16, and then you know, and it's the same sort of yourself, you know, when you told everyone, lads, join the army, you never get in, you know, you the discipline, this, that, and when you get there, you just thrive, you know. But you never know, mate.
You get there and snap that photo.
Do you know, yeah. And it's lovely because, you know, I mean, like I said, I'm 41 now, but I'm going, oh my God, going back to 22 years ago, you know. But it's like now, you know, the lads are still proud of you, you know. You see them, you mate, you know. And you have as well, but you know, obviously I've known you since your parents,
long time.
Before, mate, you know what I mean? Since we were babies. So you know, so I've watched you grow up, and it was the same, mate. Yeah, like I do. But it's that environment you grow up in. But for me personally, I kind of went the way it was like, right, I'm going to raise my children. I'm going to show them the love I never had. You know, I want them to, you know, like, no disrespect, you know. So I grew up in a council estate, but you know, with my mum, you know, I offered to buy my mum's house, and she wouldn't let me do it. And, but you know, I want my kids to have the life that I never had, you know, and that's why I think for me, that's what kept me, you know, that focus. That's what gave me that purpose in life, you know. So
but would you say, I was going to ask as well, because it definitely was for me. But would you say maybe joining the military at such a young age, like I did when I was 16, was some sort of a coping mechanism to kind of get away? Like I kind of thought, you know, my dad was open to ID, he loved the idea of it and stuff like that, you know, because when people say going to military, you think you're fucking doing something with your life.
Well, that's
fair play. You're different. I don't care what anyone says. You're different from the rest. If you've got the mentality to go in and do stuff like that, you are different. You're a different breed of man. But not to take it away from any other men, you know, you get professional fighters and stuff like that out there. That's a different breed of men as well. It's quite as a mentality thing, but. Kind of when I was about 15, 16, I had got so much shit going on what I thought that time in my life, and I was hating life, and I thought with the military, I thought, this is my way out. This is how I can maybe better my mind and be free of
definitely, mate.
Struggles I was going through. So it's one of them. Maybe a lot of people kind of join so young because it's a bit of a coping.
They do, mate. Yeah. And you find, like, you know, it's like you said, when you join the army, it's a fucking harsh environment, you know, and it's hard. And I think you've got to want to be there. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, you know, some lads do, because, you know, some lads will join it because there's it's like a, you know, it's a way out to escape, you know, maybe like where they grew up or for whatever reason, you know, like some lads just, you know, and I think it's, I don't know, it's hard because I saw lads that joined for that reason. And you just never know, like lads that grew up like us, you know, single parent family. And so when you go on to certain aspects of, you know, like I was in the infantry, you know, when you need that kind of, that little bit of rogue, you know, that little bit of, you know, so, and it helps you because when you grow up in an environment where, you know, for instance, you know, like now, you know, when I was a kid, you were out fucking till the street lights come on, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, we went out, we were never fucking, you know, me and Dino, like, you know, we were out playing, you know, Kirby, and we're out to the, you know, in the streets, but there's now all my kids playing in the streets because people are lunatic, you know, and it's so much more.
It's busier.
It's busier, mate. And then obviously all the shit on social media, and so people are so much more savvy, you know, to the way things are going now. Whereas when we were kids, we were out in the street, out the common playing, and and your mums would call you in. But so it was, I think it's a generational thing. But but it's like you said, I never had any preconceptions about joining the forces. When I left school, well, I'm 98. I'm showing my age now. But yeah, so like I said, I come from a rugby background, so playing rugby, I loved it, and that was kind of a thing for me as well. I played the rugby, got selected for Hampshire. Played sort of high level rugby, won the Hampshire Cup and stuff like that, and then it sort of, I saw this I saw that film going video. The tournament, and I saw like these videos of blokes fucking snapping their arms, snapping necks, nearly getting killed. Run this big, this 1-ton cannon, man. And I'm like, that's it, here we go. Do you know what I mean? I want to be at that.
That's the one I'm going for.
I went down to Pierce office, I want to be a film gunner. And he went, mate, all the tournament's been disbanded, they stopped it.
Pick the biggest, meanest looking thing and tackle it.
I was like, I was snapping arms, that do me. I love something. But yeah, so again, it's just I think my main thing was and I still do right now in life. I just I want to achieve something where my kids can be proud of. And I think when I was in the forces, again, coming back around to like now, it's like I had that kind of stature, like I'm in the army. And when I first joined, fucking hell, so I was getting my night out everywhere. Everyone I was in the army, and then,
have you got ID? Yes, I have.
Funny enough,
yes, I do actually.
Get yours on there.
Pass your driving license, pass your Costco card.
And then when I did kind of like, when I left the forces, I went into close protection. And again, I'm out in Afghan, I was out in Iraq, I was in Somalia on the ships, and I had that kind of, that stature, and I felt a sense of purpose, and I think even having like 2 shops now and life's going okay, I think so many men still struggle. Like again, when you leave the forces, it's wild, because I think when I left the army, it was like I was like, I thought I was ready, and I was like, I want to leave. And then I got out and I was just like fucking lost, mate. I didn't know what to do.
A lot of people don't understand that. So I had a lot of civvies at the time. We got out saying, well, you'd be all right, you just got to do this, do that. And it's like, you really don't understand. You talk to other people ex-military and but anyone else that's not ex-military will not know what that's like. And especially when you join quite young, it's told what to do in school and so on, and you're told how you do your job and kind of stuff like that. And then you get out and then you're not being told, you're not being given directions anymore. You can be great critical thinkers, but then like the hierarchy and chain of command are not in jobs the same it is in the military, so then you don't know how it functions, and it's and then it's like you can't show them respect either, because you respect the rank slide, and then when you got a boss talking down to you, looking like, what have you done? Fucking respect me.
I think that 100%, and I think that's why I knew, like I needed to get into something where, for me personally, it was like, I was there. Obviously, when Iraq kicked off, and we handed over back to Iraq, and same with Afghanistan and stuff. So, I mean, Afghan was still going on when I got out, but it was like, like I realised when I did security, when I finished, and I was in a way where I was ready to walk away from that. Like it was, I know it sounds really strange, but for like I said, for an ex-body, they'll understand. It was like, to say like, you can't do that anymore. You're never going to get to go, to do this and do that. It was like, so I kind of felt that longing to, I mean, after like 5-6 years of secret like close protection, I felt like I was ready to, I've done, I've made my peace with it now. I can walk away from it. But again, it's like joining the forces, like tattooing for me, it was the only thing that art was always been a passion of mine as I was a kid, but it was like, like getting into tattooing. It was like, again, it was something. It was like an industry like I thought I'd never be able to get into. And went to I said to my mate Stevie, come on, would you take me on as an apprentice? He went, I don't know, mate. So I've had it. I said, it's been 20 years, mate. And he's like, no. I said, come on, Steve. I know all the lads in the shop, and I said, I'll give you $1,000. I start Monday morning. So that was it, mate. So God knows where my tattoo career would have gone if I. In a position to be able to do that. But
would you say as well, good thing about like when you're doing tattooing, also you do like a lot of the drawings in the evening. So because I always say, I had someone when I was doing a live on a TikTok the other day, and a guy generally he actually messaged open and he said, you know, I'm struggling with a bit of anxiety and depression and stuff. He goes, what could you recommend? And I said, hobbies. I goes, start picking up all different types of hobbies, even hobbies from when you was a kid, like drawing. Drawing's a perfect example, because with tattooing, you do that, and then, you know, you can take your drawing home and draw for the next day and stuff like that. It kind of keeps your mind, you know, occupied in a way. And I said the exact same thing to him. I said, you know, me personally, I've got like 15 to 20,000 different hobbies. There's so much different crap that I do, and that I go 100% with all the time. But I like for 2 months, I collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I grade them, I send them off to America, PSA, get them graded, stuff like that. And I'll focus on that for like a month and a half, and then I'll go back to playing Game Boy stuff like that, do that, and then I'll go back to building cars, and it changes. And my mistress gets annoyed about it, rightfully so. But that's what keeps me busy.
But mate. But again, you know, I think that same as myself. You know, I'm like, you know, I'm printing t-shirts. I'm doing my art. I do this. You know, and I think that's.
Oh yeah, the Tattoo Gentleman t-shirts and jumpers will be available soon. So remember.
But like you said, even on that, mate, I think that stems from like you're very much like myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's you need to be 100 miles an hour sometimes. Always, the negative thoughts creep in from just from leaving the army. You know, for us, I mean, that's our. You know, it seems to be like, you know, speaking to you over the years, and you know, for me personally, it's like, you know, I think you just need to be busy, mate. You know, but it's a good thing, because one, it's another little stream of revenue, but if someone else tries up, you know, so
you've got something else to fall back on.
Constantly evolving. And I think for me personally, like you said, it's just, I need to be 100 miles an hour. But again, coming back to like that kind of having that sense of self-worth and purpose and stuff like that. Being a tattoo artist is great, and it's nice. But and well, again, like in my trade, mate, it's like it's almost like therapy itself, because people tell me anything, like, do you know what I mean? When you're tattoo artist,
like your barber, you tell your barber anything.
People's darkest. I mean, sometimes
I killed a man, and you're like, right, okay, no worries.
Don't worry about that. So I'll do. I'll get it, like, people open up, and because I think tattooing is an intimate thing, like the guy who trained me, Steve, like a friend of mine, he was like, I love this ethos of like, he was the old school tattoo artist where it was like, you give me a bit of your skin, I'll give you a bit of my soul. And I love that, because I feel like that's lost in tattooing now. Now it's all about, looking cool and like, I'm 41, I'm not exactly an old sweat, but a lot of these youngsters now that are getting into tattooing because it's cool. And I miss the days when, you had a tattoo, you was like a bit of a rebel, or an old school sailor. So, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit more of an elite club, whereas now, I mean, I'm not bad mouthing anyone in the industry, but there's so many different styles, and I love how popular it's got now. But I just miss them old school days.
I think that's the thing. In the old school days, there's a lot of stuff that was maybe frowned upon, but that's what made those groups cool as fuck. But now everyone. There's a lot of things, people probably even know what I'm secretly on about, but I'm not going to say it. There's a lot of communities and stuff that are trying to get out there more and more and more, shoved in people's faces and so on. But the thing is like tattooing did. Like, no, it is okay, like, absolutely. But then, like you said, it spreads out, and then everyone ends up doing the same thing, and then no one's unique anymore.
That's right,
It makes life a bit boring.
Well, that's it, isn't it? No, definitely, mate. And it's like anything, it's like, once people realize, you can earn good money doing that, there's going to be good and bad in the industry and better quality, but that is a bit of a shame now. Where it's just like this, as soon as something gets a bit popular, it flares up out everywhere. My partner's in aesthetics, and it used to be quite a good thing, but now they just pop up everywhere. And you get, you can do this deal, that deal, and you're like, how are you making any money on that? Or for instance, like for my industry, like these home scratches now. Mate, if anyone wants to get a tattoo machine and have a go, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? But it's like when you start charging people money and you're fucking people's skin up.
Oh yeah, it's not. That's ridiculous. But that's the thing. A lot of people say you put your mind to anything, you can do it, and you can, but you need to do it in the correct way. God, we've put our mind to a lot of stuff, and but look where we are now. We're doing it.
Well, that's it.
We're out there doing it.
It was that. But again, we come back to like you said. Join the army. You told your mates, fuck off.
It was a joke,
and I had exactly the same thing, but I was out, smashing 100 miles a week, running 100 miles a week, carrying weight on my back, and it's like, you just got to switch that, and then again, it comes back to like the individual, like, because we can sit here and say, this, it's like you said, like with hobbies, it's good to have a hobby, and to try and keep your mind focused and stuff like that,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is massive.
But it's like, I was saying on a live again I was doing the other day, like, another guy messaged in and said about, he's a bit, it was a bone problem. I can't remember what it was called, but so he suffers with a lot of fatigue and stuff like that, so he can't walk around as much. He goes, I'm a bit bedbound. And it's like, my point is basically, a lot of people don't think outside of the box. Because I said, well, what kind of games and stuff do you play? He goes, I've never played a game console. I go, so you're stuck in bed? I goes, and you're not gaming or something like that? And he goes, no. I was like, right. I was like, you need I goes, have you got family members with you? He goes, yeah. I goes, get one of your family members, go into, gaming shops. You got Game CX, so on, stuff like that in the UK. I goes, go in there, get yourself an Xbox. I goes, get some games going, that'll keep you occupied. I said, and you can expand from there. He's like, what do you mean? I goes, well, that will give you hours and hours of pleasure. If you're a bit bedbound, that I can see what that'd be more. I goes, and I can't tell you to get fresh air and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. I goes, but there's things being bedbound you can do to try and exercise your mind a little bit. And I said about stuff like that, I goes, but you can expand by there. I goes, then you can start a TikTok, a YouTube account, anything, and start filming you playing these and stuff like that. I goes, and you can get further, earn a bit of money in and stuff like that. Right. But there's a lot of people that, not shaming anyone, but when they have problems like that, they kind of, you get your diagnosis and they roll over and die and go, well, that's me. I just sit here and went. And it's like, that's why you got to watch this podcast, because there's so many ideas we can give you. Just, they're not perfect, but there's a lot of little things you can do here and there to preoccupy your mind and get you out of that kind of decline in life and
definitely, mate.
Build you up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've never, for me personally, I've never been a gamer. Like you said, So it's hard, mate. Because it's. I think sometimes it's easy when you sort of like you're not in their shoes. I mean, and you go, and I think that's it's.
But that's why I think. Because a topic, obviously, we're touching on like the different systems that are in place for men's mental health. Yeah, a lot of these people train to know the right answers in university and stuff like that. They train to pass the tests. And I won't say who, but like someone I know doing becoming a PE teacher and stuff like that. Right. She, went through it all and stuff like that. It was great. But like even she said, in university, they're not actually training you to understand how to teach. They train you how to pass the tests. And then what good is that? It's like, and if you're learning to be a counsellor and stuff like that, you're learning in university the kind of ways to do it, which is great. But then you're doing it and you've got to pass these tests at the end. But then I've spoken to a few of them, even one of my old counsellors and stuff like that, like female I used to have. She even openly said, she goes, you actually do most of the learning talking to people. She goes, because when you learn these things, I think they should get more people in, men who are talking about it, to try to train on and stuff like that, but they don't. That's a big problem. Yeah,
but that's where you gain the experience, isn't it? It's like, me tattooing someone or someone tattooing you that hasn't got a tattoo. It's like, well, you can't, you need that empathy. Mate, this is going to fucking hurt. Or
how would you know if you ain't got one? How are you going to know?
This is going to feel like shit, And people, when I tattoo ribs, I'm covered, So when I tattoo people's ribs, I'm like, dude, I'll pull up my top. That I feel you. Do you know?
Yeah, I know your pain.
But that's it, mate. It's like you said. I don't think you can. There's certain things like psychology degrees. Yeah, it turn you, understand how neurological pathways work, so that. But I think until you've like walked the walk, I think it's hard, talk the talk, and I think that's where I've always said to my partner, and again, while we're doing this, mate, I would love to, to do something like that, But again, that's the platform we've got here now, where within reason, I've been through all sorts, like yourself, situations where, violent situations, bad situations, it's just like, I've been on the planet 41 years. I'm pretty much fucked up every way you can, So, I feel like even if you could just be an ear for someone to listen and say, look, dude, I've been there, I fucked up, And I have. Do you know what I mean? I've been ex-partners, fucked up financially. I've fucked up, all sorts of shit, you just.
Yeah, I've been in situations literally living on a mattress in a room.
Yeah.
Counting, me and my missus have been there with pounds going, we could get pasta, maybe a sauce. And that's got to last us 4 or 5 days. Look,
100%.
And that's why
but that's
people,
I'll
say like that's why like some people have tried to shame me for this, but I always say I don't trust people that haven't suffered in life. If I meet people and they've not suffered, and I'm not saying they're bad people, but if they've not suffered in any way, I won't have them in my group because I don't trust them. I only people who know pain they're the ones you can kind of relate to. And that's why, look, you know, hopefully if men are watching this and feeling that way, that's the thing. We trust you, so talk to us.
Yeah, no,
hit the email up, and any issues. You know, we're not perfect. We don't know everything, but I know enough. We've kind of been through. I've been through the system. I've just come out of going through a bit of depression and stuff like that, and talking things like that. And so there's a lot of numbers and stuff like that we can actually help you try to get in contact with. Because I think a lot of men suffer with, they don't want to make that first initial step and ring up those people. If you know, in the like you said the other day, in the comfort of your own home, watch this. Email us. You know, you don't know us personally. We don't know you, so there's no judgment. And hopefully we can actually try to get you the help that you need. And then that's obviously touching base like on the systems that are in place. Yeah. When I was going through it, I went through, in the UK, it's called Living Well Partnership.
Right.
But the problem I faced with is a lot of them were female, and it's not that. It was a struggle to talk to females, but and obviously everyone's going to have mixed views on this, but my personal preference was I wanted a male, because as I was talking to these females, I kind of felt like it was a joke and they were taking me for a joke, and they really was speaking to these females. They goes, I was talking about, but you're a big strong man anyway, so you probably don't want to talk about that, do you? And then you're sat there like, well, I don't now. No. You know, and I went through about 3 different females, and it wasn't until I finally got a man when then I actually felt like I was getting help, which is you know, it's a big problem. And then going through the 4, 5, 6 different systems, different numbers, I had to start again, and that's one of the push to someone else. Like, well, you don't really deal with that. So maybe if you go to them and you think, well, is there not a system out there that does a bit of everything, multitasks?
Well, that's it, mate. You know, and that, I mean, I had the same thing. Like during COVID, my ex-missus done me for about 1,500 quid worth of credit card fraud. Like, because it's that easy, right? So, you know, she's a mother of my kids. So, you know, I'm not going to name names or anything like that. But at the same time, I reported her to the police, and it got to the point where I let it go the first time. And although I was speaking to a male officer, you know, he basically talked to me about, oh, it doesn't matter. It's your ex-missus now. We'll have to go around and basically talk to me out of pressing charges. I was like, hey, okay, well, that's fine. I'll believe it. But as long as she's given a warning, and I was, you know, again, you know, not, you know, to your level, that, but it's still like, you know, a crime against myself. And I was talked out of pressing charges because, you know, oh, well, you know, it was like, I felt like I wasn't being listened to. Like, you know, so. Yeah, I mean, for you, mate, to get pushed pillar to post, you know, and it's like,
it was ridiculous. I remember getting this was like middle of last year as well. I remember getting home and I was just like distraught about it. Well, this is like, what's the matter? And I was like, I just feel like a fucking joke. Because that was like one of the first time I fully opened up about my childhood past, military, coming out, my struggles, all of that. Just for this woman to look at me and take me for a complete joke. And there might be people that will watch this and go, well, no, I know so and so is a therapist and she would never do it. And it's like, great, everyone knows someone, don't they? Like, you always get someone that, well, I know someone that is like, great, but that 1% does not make up for the majority.
And that's, but the thing is, like, that's, you know, that's your experience, you know, and that's how you've been treated, mate. You know, like I said, you can't tie everyone with the same brush. You know, like there might be women out there that are, you know, very good, but it's like anything, though, mate. You know, like again with, you know, with mental health issues and stuff like that. You know, say, you know, not combat, sort of induced like myself, or, you know, or like it's just like, you know, it could be a childhood trauma or something like that. But like I said, if the trigger of that trauma has been caused by a male, you know, and you want to speak to a female or vice versa, do you know what I mean? Like, you should be taking
it's a good point, actually. That does happen, because if you've had bad past speaking to females, then that's why that's why men won't talk to them. Men talk to females.
But like I said to you, like a friend of mine, like I say again, won't name names, but like, you know, she's just started working for a charity who deal with women, you know, women only that have been, you know, sexual abuse and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's like I said to you, and I just reached out to her and I said, look, mate, you know, just like I said to you now, I know it's hard, you know, not because she's seeing all that, you know, and that's, she's getting bombarded with that every day, you know. I know that's her job, but, you know, she's helping people, and that's amazing. So I just reached out, you know, and I just said to her, look, you know, don't take it home. Do you know what I mean? Try to, you know, they went on holiday and she's got really, you know, really supportive partner, and they're amazing.
But then even saying that, like, that's why I'd openly shame men for that because you're probably saying I'm the type of person. If I'm driving down the road and I see a woman in distress, I'll pull over. If there's three guys attacking her, I'll jump straight out and I'll go for it. But there's I'll call out a lot. There's a lot of men that will drive past it.
Oh, mate,
men need to do more. So you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I literally had one of my clients come in and I was telling her, and she had her ex-boyfriend attacked her in town. She had a baby with her.
Yeah.
Literally, mate, I stole her phone off her. Like her child rolled across the shopping centre, and literally no one helped her, mate. This dude took her phone off her, and I'm like,
yeah.
If I saw that, like, I'm
that's it. Yeah.
I'm,
you know,
I'm the first one. Like when I was in the army, for instance, I was based in Tidworth at the time. I was coming down the 303. It's my first 125. It was my first motorbike, and and I was like going down the 303, and I sort of like started, and I looked down. I saw the red light was on, and I was like, oh man, and I sort of looked back. And I slowed down. I thought, shit, I've run out of picture. So I tipped over my shoulder, gets into the half shoulder, and I've been there like a couple of minutes. But like I have my jacket on, but I have combats from my, the waist down, my boots and that. And this guy pulled up and he went, mate, you got petrol? I said, yeah, I think I am. He said, oh mate, he said, I've been there, buddy. He said, look, I've got bless him, he had a van. He goes, I've got some rack and it's pretty bike in there. I said, oh, brilliant. Goes to move the bike, mate. The fucking bike would move, and it was the oil light. I fucking seized the whole engine, mate. Right? So I looked back, there was a fucking skid mark for about 300 meters down the 303. I knocked the back wheel up. I'm just skidding. Do you know what I mean? Gets to me, I was trying to make that dude. You fucked the whole bike. You seized the engine up, mate. Like, it's like it's the oil light.
Petrol's not.
So basically, not a brand new bike. I think I paid like 3,200 quid. Paid another 600 quid to get the engine fixed. But I never forget that guy, mate. He pulled over. It was raining, mate. He drove me from fucking Andover all the way back to Southampton, and I had nothing to give him. He went, mate, don't even worry about it. And I was like, mate, you're fucking lit. So I'm the first one. If I see someone pulled over, I need a car pushed and that, I'm my missus, go on, get out, and I'm out, mate. Yeah. So it's just nice to pay it forward. You know what I mean? It's like.
It's if you believe in karma as well, you do good things. Hopefully, good things will come back to you. Because even today, look, we stopped off outside the shop, and there's a bit of an elderly man who had loads of plasterboards. I think he had about 16 plasterboards. And if anyone who does plastering will know that those boards are fucking heavy. Jesus. And we were sat there in the van. I was with my old man. We was eating a burger, and we looked left, and he turned around at me. He goes, do you reckon he needs a hand? And he's looking, and he turned around and goes, if I had to load them on my own, fuck that. I was like, yes. So we jumped out the van and loaded them for him. Didn't want anything. He offered. We didn't want nothing, but it's this little thing. That was to a man, obviously, but there's little things like that, and I think men do need to do more in that instance. There's a lot of women that do cry wolf. We keep hearing the stories all the time, but there's a lot of women that do need help, and other women are not going to be able to help them. That's when it's kind of men's job, I would say, to maybe, if you can see or do something, then do it. Yeah, I mean, definitely, mate. I mean, there's little acts of kindness. It just makes someone's day. Like I won't say his name, but like one of my clients, he's autistic, and he come in, and he's knocked the door the other day, and he's like, "Come on, mate, I need £3," and I could see he was like a bit stressed out, and I was like, "Dude, I haven't got £3, but I had 5 on me," and I was just like, "Look, take the £5." And then I was having breakfast yesterday, bless him. He walked past. I was like, hey, you're right, mate. I said, I was joking around. I said, you got my money? And he went, oh, no. I said, don't be daft. I said, no, I just want to make sure you're all right, mate. I said, don't worry about it, bless him. But he come in today and paid me my £5 back, bless us up. and it's like, like little Marion walks, she comes past here, bless her, and mobility. And then it's like, she come in one day and before, I changed it to tattoo shop, dog feed. Yeah. And she was like, she said, oh, can I pop in? I said, yeah, of course you can. I said, have you got a dog? And I was going to give her some advice, but she went, no, I'm just lonely. I haven't got anyone. I said, babe, you come in any day you like. Yeah. I said, come in and have a coffee with me. Do you know what I mean? And I bet that probably changed her day. Mate, a week, a year, maybe. Like you just.
Yeah, she comes back, but like she's got a little Scrabble club.
Yeah.
It's at the library, and I'll see her up there. She's got passion. And she didn't say hello, so I said, Mary, you right? I'm super stop. She went, she goes, I've got Scrabble today. She goes, but there's this guy up there. He goes, I swear he just makes up the bloody words. She goes, he's like a human the dick's there. He beats me all the time. She said, I hate playing against him. I said, you go show her about it.
Oh, that one of women that stopped off the other day, was it?
Oh, no, that's the other one.
Was that the other one?
Yeah, she's another one. But again, I don't know who she is, but it takes 2 minutes to have a little chat, like we did, have a chat about something.
Just to change someone's day. And then I think that's why it's important, like we were saying earlier, like why men can't speak up in their relationships. And it's because I've been a victim of this like years and years ago in the past as well, where, you know, you get back and you say to your missus all the time, "You look beautiful today. You look stunning." And the other things, nice ass, but and then how was your day and stuff like that. And then I've been in relationships before where I get back and they didn't say I look nice. They didn't ask how my day was. And the thing is, just asking a man mostly, like, you know, how you doing? How was your day today? Stuff like that can make all the difference.
Mate, absolutely.
And snap them out of that bad mood, maybe, and so on.
That's like, I mean, I'm kind of at the sort of, in a way like that now. When I was with my ex-part, like, you know, my missus now, she's like younger than me. I mean, she's like 33, so, you know, I've never had anyone take as many photographs of me in my life. That's like 5 years, you know, and I'm a lovely bastard, do you know what I mean? So she's like, "Babe, let's take a selfie." And I always look like a fucking mom in it, man. You know, well, you know what I mean? You know, I always look like a lunatic in pictures, and she's just like, "Yeah, put the filter on," I still look fucking crazy. So
you feel like you're going to look like Barney out of How I Met Your Mother, a cool photo every time, but it never happens.
That's what I'm like, like Instagram versus reality and that. It's just like, but
oh god,
it's nice. You know what I mean, I said to Mrs. like, "Fucking, you want to take it." So it is nice because it is reciprocated. For me personally, you know, my missus is, she's very vocal and, you know, maybe look good. And bless her. And I didn't even until you sort of said that then, I didn't realise. Well, not realise. I do take note of it. You know, but I think for me personally, I find it like, even when someone goes, "Oh, you know, that's a brilliant tattoo," or this, that, and the other. Like, I find it hard to take compliments. Not hard, but, you know, it embarrasses me a little bit. Like, that's a banging tattoo.
But then when you sit to think about it, you're like, "Oh, that made me feel good."
It does make you feel lovely.
Do you know what? Women get confused by that as well, because even like on podcasts I've watched and so on, and women that have like messaged on, even on TikTok lives and stuff like that. They always say, like, once I said, you know, to a man his hair looked good, and then he wouldn't shut up talking about it. And it's like, yes, because you've got to understand there's a hell of a lot of men out here that get one compliment a year, if that. Women can be out here and get 10, 20, 50 compliments a day. Men never get compliments. So just walking past and saying, "Your beard's really on point today." He'll get in his car and go, "Fuck yeah, all right, and give him a bit of confidence for the day, and you know, snap him out of a bad mood.
Exactly, No, I don't, like you said, I don't care who it is, you know, whatever you do in life, like, everyone likes to be complimented. I mean, it does make you feel nice.
It does.
And I'm not like, you know, sort of like whether you're sort of, you know, realising not or who you are. It's, you know, someone gives you a little compliment, it does make your day, you know. But then again, it's that flip side of it, which I think is quite sad now, where, you know, like for me, you know, like, I'm quite a big lad, you know, tattooed and stuff like that, you know. So when you see people of a certain generation, or like someone, you know, have to do that awkward smile, like, to get not a bad person, like, I'm a good person, you know, like, you know what I mean? Because
I'm not going to kill you.
I'm not going to rob you, you know, and like, it's something that's been, like, I don't realise it, like, but when my missus saying that, she goes, "Oh, sometimes, like, you know, like, if I lose." Like, not you know, in a bad way, but sometimes, you know, lose your temper or shout a little bit, because you are quite an intimidating figure, you know, and I hate it when someone who doesn't know me gets intimidated by me, like, you know, so I do get it quite often, and you know, again, it's that, you know, that old sort of cliche or stereotypical, you know, tattoos and stuff like that, you know, and so it is hard sometimes because, you know, like you said, you approach someone like that, you know, but to that girl, and start approaching, "Hey, you look," and they freak out. Do you know what I mean? Oh god! Well, you know, so I suppose it's kind of it's a fine line sometimes, isn't it? You know, like, you know, because I've had it before. Well, you know, you go to approach a situation and people are very like standoffish and very untrusting now. It's just like, no, I'm good. I'm a good person. I'm here to, you know.
No, that's the thing. I know, like, got out of the car or something to, you know, go into a shop, and then an older lady says a joke or something, walks past, and something like, "Oh, we nearly tripped there," or something like that, and I'm like, that looks scary. She said hello.
No, it's nice actually. I have that. I've had that so many times. You know, where, you know, you see, like, you know, an old driver, let's say, and then engage with you, and it's like that boundary. You know, it's like, I saw like a lovely video the other day, and it's like kids from like different races, like two young kids. You know, they were like, "What's different about you two?" You know, and not one of them said, like, they were like black and white. There was Asian. One little girl had Down syndrome. There's another kid, and they're like, "Oh, well, I live up the hill, and my friend lives down." You know what I mean? So
that's it.
When you're not aware of that, and I thought that's such a beautiful thing, man. Like, and that's how kids should be, like, you know.
And that's where I think, well, because you see a lot of like trans LGBTQ community and stuff like that, constantly on social media going on about everything, which is fine and stuff like that, but a lot of people that I've even got mates that are somewhat a bit racist. I'll say that, but I knew them in school, and they never had those thoughts ever. They were never somewhat racist, never had these different thoughts, and it wasn't until kind of exposure to social media and everything kind of being thrown in your face, like this, think about this. Yeah. To when then they started having different opinions. It's like, growing up, you don't see race at all. You never do. Yeah. But it's I don't know. It's social media kind of changes that for some people because it's a strange one. It's a strange one to get into. But
I think social. It's a definitely a generational thing or a cultural thing and stuff like that. It's just it's I mean, I've got a transgender nephew. So it's but you've seen that little girl got attacked and stabbed to death in the park. It's wild, man. Do you know what I mean? I think in 2023, I think it's crazy that we're still
still talking about it.
It's it's still a thing. Like racism's still a thing, or sexism, and it's just like it's like feminism and stuff like that. It's just like, mate, I know women that could do shit I can't do in a million years.
Oh definitely.
And vice versa. So I think it's like, it's a bit of a minefield. But for me, it's just like, mate,
just do you and don't bother me.
I
mean, feminism's kind of just men haters now. I mean, no one wants to talk about that, do they? But a lot of feminism just want to be superior to men, which is fine. I mean, I don't see them out there running the oil rigs and the power supply to society and stuff like this.
That's
a big thing, different topic.
It's
maybe talk about another time.
It is, mate.
We've been there for hours.
Yeah, of course, mate. Yeah, it's a minefield. That it's just like it's like anything in life. Like if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what kind of skin, race, creed, anything.
Yeah, if you're an asshole, you're an asshole.
And until it affects. It impacts your life in any way, that's fine. And but it's just fucking live and let live, mate. It's like
I think that's what people struggle with now is because you might know a trans person and you don't like them as a person, maybe. But then you'll get called transphobic for it. You slam. It's like, no, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't like that person.
Well,
but people will slam you for it. It's strange society we live in. You're just not allowed an opinion these days. You cannot speak out against people's feelings at all. Ever.
It's kind of 6 months after the done it because everyone's got an opinion on things, and that's fine. And it's like me and you can sit here now, with the best intention. We've done this to help people, and and to give someone a voice and a platform to speak up. But again, it's like you're always going to get someone, like I don't really like a Karen or something. That's going to oppose what you're saying or why you're saying it, and it's like it's fine, but it's just like just let those little trolls go back to their little holes, mate. What I mean?
But it's even like doing this and the stuff. I've always posted controversial stuff. You've probably seen on Facebook or anything I have opinion on, I'll post it. I'll get a lot of shit for it. I get a lot of hateful comments. I've had death threats, everything. I've had even my family members don't agree with it, but I'm at the point it's your life. You've got to live it. Fuck everyone else. It's like if everyone in life didn't have an opinion, the world would be boring. It'd be so boring. Because you can have different ideas and still be mates. Like just have different ideas. Someone doesn't mean you need to hate that person.
No, that's it, mate. It's a big wide on funny old world, mate. And then, like I said, for me personally, I'm at a place where I'm 41 years old. Do you know what I mean? I'm too fat and tired to fucking. So but again, I know that being having a podcast and being a figure or thing, it's gonna, but I think, it's just, I mean, it's like anything, isn't it? You always get, you can have a fucking video of like your cutest little puppy, and you're always going to get some arsehole who's going to comment or say something just to invoke, just to poke and prod, and you think, unfortunately, that's a fucking sad part of society now. Do you know what I mean? Or how life is. Social media's giving so many little fucking trolls a voice.
Hide behind their keyboard, don't they? Thinking they got power.
And just even if it's not even the fact that they're opposed to what you're saying, but trolls are trolls. They're called that for a reason because they just love to fucking pick and poke and prod. And it's like you could be like I said, this is starting with the best intentions in the world, man.
But then that's like touching on kind of why men, what we were saying earlier, men can't speak out. Is because we all know in that friend group of 3, 5, 10. if you've got that many friends, fucking well done. You're doing something better than I am. But you always have that one friend that'll go, "Oh, shut up, being a girl," and stuff like that. And those type of trolls, ignore them.
Yeah.
Like you'll get it, and you might take it to heart, but you need to ignore what that one guy is saying, because you don't need to listen to him.
No, I mean,
talk about it. Look.
I mean, mate. I mean, I literally had a friend of mine. He come in recently, had a little memorial tattoo.
Yeah.
And like one of his friends was literally fucking screaming out to his friends, and he even said the words, "I will commit suicide," and they told him to do it then, and he hung himself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and then they said when we went to the funeral, these guys all stood there upset, and you're just like, he was screaming out for help. Do you know what I mean? And like, and and it's just like, wow, man.
And you'd be like, and you let him.
I mean, I mean, the person, like, a few weeks ago, I don't know, tried to take his own life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So, and that's a friend I've grew up with all my life, and I thought they had shit together,
Yeah, now they're embarrassed to talk about it, and you shouldn't have to be.
Exactly, yeah.
Come sit down, have a tea. Tea always fixes a lot. And,
that's it, mate. Yeah.
Talk about it.
And that's the thing, man. Like, and it's the same with like alcohol. Like that. I think fueled that. Because it's like, it's a fucking depressant, man. Like, and I've got a friend of mine, bless him, so we've been through some heavy shit in Iraq. He got out before Afghan, but like we went through some heavy shit together in Iraq, and like I said to you, like he'll ring me up, and I'll always answer the phone, because I know he never do anything stupid. But I know he's had a couple of beers and he wants to have a chat, because it's something that's so unique to us, and I think a lot of people, because we went through it together, he likes to confide and just have a chat about it, which is fine, but I think
it'd be nice to see more of it.
And that's it. But like me personally, like I've always been an open book. About the time in the forces or my life, or I'm self-deprecating. I don't give a shit. I'll tell you the deepest, darkest, stupidest stories, the most fucking I told you the time in the hotel. That's a story for another podcast. But so another time. But I will tell you. But so I think when you can just kind of I don't know, mate. It's hard for me to and I'm not bad mouthing anybody who feel like they can't speak this, their truth or their feelings and that. But for me, like, I am an open book, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking hell, I watched it. Have you seen that Man Down? That Shia LaBeouf film?
Yes.
The ending of that, mate, fucked me up. I was like, the floodgates just opened. I was like ugly crying for about 10 minutes, Like the ending of that, because my missus sort of says to me, that could so easily be you, He's come back, and his mucker dies, and he loses the plot, bless him. So and I feel, and a friend of, like, say, a good friend of yours, held it together for years, mate. And now it's caught up with him, and I suppose, like in some small way, like we said about like everyone's childhood, like as much as you switch it off, and I think with like I think one of the main things that I find now. I don't know about yourself, but like how fucking quickly I can switch my emotions off. I've been in contact, I've lost fucking mates and that, and you've seen your muckers get killed and fucking legs blown off and shit. Like, you've got to find a way to compartmentalise that, because you think, right, I've got another 4 or 5 months of this tour, and I'm seeing my mates get fucking, killed, and I'm seeing mates get out, and he's like, if you let it get to you, it will eat you up, and I've seen lads lose their shit. And it's a horrible thing. I've seen lads start fucking banging off rounds and shit, and and it's like, it's horrible, man. Like, so
when they go and start going in fetal positions.
Do you know what I mean? And I think so. You've got to try and find a way to compartmentalize it. And I think it's a self-preservation thing. Like I mean, one of the first times my partner experiences, we had 2 kittens. And mate, we were moving house, and the house was like flat, was completely empty. We were cleaning, and they were like both like house like flat cats, because they the main road. They never went out, so they were like in. At the time, they were like staying indoors. And now they're just feral and never come in. But where we lived, is maybe when I saw our neighbour's cat get run over, bless them, like, they're not going out, And it was just like, but my missus was clean, and Luna, she curled up behind the bedroom door, and my missus, and I was like ferrying stuff to the house. So I came back, and she was like, "Oh man, Luna's got out." She was crying, and I was just like, "Well, she chose death. That's it." Do you know what I mean? And I just shut my emotions off. And mate, I was fucking gutted, because Luna was like, but I think you just got to switch. You know, you've got to find a way to compartmentalise everything. You know, and I think like what I'm going through with my girls now. That's why I feel like I'm a bit of a fucking social hand grenade. Like, you know, like now because I try to find a way to be okay with, you know, like my girls not wanting to see me, because that's the thing. It's like, if she was like, you're not seeing the girls, I'll fight her in court all day long. Yeah. But what she's done is she's now sneaking up, she's manipulated my children. Oh, your dad's this, your dad's that. And they believe it because they're 7, 9 and 12. So they're not going to know. It's their mum, do you know what I mean? They're not going to think she's lying. So
because why would mummy lie to you?
Mummy lied to you, yeah. So, you know, and now it's like, so I need to try and find a way of being okay with that. But then I think to myself, right, I've got to go to them fucking dark places and, right, okay, switch it off. Then I beat myself up because I don't want to be okay with not seeing my kids. But if I don't, I'm going to fucking lose my shit. You know,
and then you'll be the bad one.
Yeah. And then if I lose my shit, I lose my temper. Then I'm going to give her what she wants. I'm the bad guy. See, your dad's a big Larry fucking, you know, and it's like, and that's not me. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and it's, but like, mate, she's made them like a fucking worship ground my kids walk on. But she's made them so cold. Like before I had my knee surgery, right? I cooked dinner one day, and the girls were sat there, and I fucking went, picked the plates up, went to go and take them up to the district, and my knee popped, mate. Bang, on the floor, fucking plates on their way. I'm in agony. My knees were, mate, my girls did not even break their fucking gaze from the till. And even my missus got upset. She was like, you're on the floor with in agony. They didn't give a fuck, you know? Yeah. And that for me, it's just like, and there were so many times when it's like that. But because it's, you know, they're taught in schools, like, you know, you know, you don't hurt another person's feelings like that. And then when I said to him, babe, like, it kills Daddy when you I'll do it, you know, like that 7-year-old, and I was like, babe, I'm really, Daddy's really hurt, I want to see you, and please don't, why are you doing this to me? And they just think it's a game. She's there, like, and it's honestly, mate, you know, I'll make this countless things I won't go into, but, you know, and it's just like, she's turning them into these heartless little kids, and it's like, that's not the babies I raised, you know what I mean? It's like, and that fucking kills me, man, you know?
And that's the thing, is there'll be people that are watching this, and God, they could probably reel off 10 other guys they know that's going through this, and I don't. And that's maybe a question. Any women, if you're watching this, why? Like, what? If you know women that are doing this, why not speak out against them and say, is this the right way to go about it? Because I think it might be a bigger problem in America because you see it more advertised in America, but it's just as big in the UK. And you all the time get deadbeat dads. He's trash. He doesn't do anything for the kids and stuff like that. Is it, or is it because the mum's stopping ex-partner from seeing the kids and using the kids and the kids? And a lot of women do it. That's proper toxic manipulation to the highest level.
Oh, it is.
But maybe some men out there might be pieces of shit. But if they're trying to spend time with the kids, why would you stop that? Because I think society knows kids do better with both parents in the picture. If you strip that away and you know, it might sound bad, but the statistics and facts are out there to prove this. Majority of the time, when it's single mother homes, the kids do not do well in society. And if you're looking at this going, fuck you, Chan, Google it. It's there. It is there. You need a male kind of inserts discipline, right from wrong and so on. And I would say the mum's there, love, nurture, and
I don't know, but I mean, I've always been like, you know, a massively like, you know, hands on dad, and you know, I'd come in from work, and you know, the girl, I'd have like baby in each arm, and they'd both be fucking sound asleep in seconds, you know, and and it's like everything, you know, I always be like, what my girls what's this, babe, you know, and I try and engage with them and that, and it's just like they're, you know, like before, you know, whereas now, now when they just come around and go, what's this, babe, and it's like, oh no, you know, it's like they're not my girls anymore, but it's like you said, it's just. It works both ways, man. It's not just like, you know, but I do unfortunately know so many lads that turn to drinking alcohol and all that, because you know they're genuinely good guys that just want to see their kids, and they're being manipulated. Their children are being manipulated by them. I mean, I could tell you countless people that are tattooed, mate, exactly the same position, you know, and I think it's hard because for me personally, like I said, you know, like. You know, when I speak about it, and it is weird because it does upset me and stuff like that, and you know, and a lot of mums will sympathise, but it's weird, like I said to you before, like when I should drop off at school, you know, she spreads so much shit. Like if you throw enough shit at anything, some of it's going to stick, you know. I'm not big on social media at all. I've got only like 2 or 3 friends, you know, so I don't take to social media to like, you know, air my dirty laundry like, you know, some people do. So, you know, because I don't fight the case where you're not on, like, you know, people get that perception of you, like, you know, and these are people that I've tattooed, mate, and people that I know, and like, you go in the playground, so I've got fucking leprosy, mate. Like, don't even look at me. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, oh, I can take it my ex-missus was big, you know. It's wild, mate.
That's the thing, though, because because I've never heard of a woman having this struggle. I've heard of one case where a woman's had to fight for her kids, but they go to court, they'll get them. The court always favours females, but then at the same time, I think a lot of the issues is with it is that, you know, they're weaponising kids and so on and doing this, and the man will fight for days, weeks, months, years, and at one point he will have to give up. And when he does, that's when they go, see, look, he's given up. He don't even care. Like, he's not even bothered. It's like, no, he was. But you sucked the soul out of him for so many fucking years. He physically cannot join. You physically can't do it anymore. And then you're ashamed for it. And I think if women do that, I think I'd throw out their prison sentence and stuff. Like, something needs to be. And even with like the payment thing, obviously, I said you know, government always favours females. I say this all the time, and I say it because if you go to court cases against the man, you know, 9 in 10 times the female will win. Unless the man's kind of got an absurd amount of money and stuff like that. That's the only kind of case I'd say it might favour and the female doesn't. But even so, it seems to always go towards the female. But yeah, like you say, it's obviously, I always hear all the time of this happening to men, not necessarily women. There are probably women out there, obviously, but you don't hear it. No, social media, personal life, I only ever hear of men doing it. And like you said, kind of alcohol, drug abuse, stuff like that. They turn to these things as the only thing that can numb them. I mean, they haven't given up. They did fight. You took away their fight.
Exactly, mate. That's exactly it. You know, and that is it, mate. Like, I've never really been big on these, like, you know, self-help fucking memes or you know, these motivations. But like, there was one, and I read then it's just like, you know, if you love something, like, you know, don't chase it. You know, don't sort of like, you know, fight for it. Oh, I can't remember what it was. You know, it's basically like, don't chase it, blah blah blah. You know, and it was like, and it was, and I tried it, man. I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna, you know, because I text him every day, and again, that's like in a fucking fight I've got. Like, if I don't text him every day, like, you know, but then I found out, like, oh man, fuck, I was like, but yeah, you know, but I beat myself up to think, well, I either text him today and then I'll get rejected, and that fucking breaks my heart, or I'll beat myself up if I don't text him because what you know, but I never get an answer anyway, you know, and it's like, it's kind of that thing where it's like, unfortunately, you know, I mean, every case is unique, but unfortunately, like 99.9% of the cases that I've ever seen is like, the women, you know, it's got a, you know, like I said, like I said, there probably are cases. But
you don't hear of it, do you?
You just don't hear it. Unfortunately, you know. But I know so many people that turn to, like I said, alcohol, you know, because they don't get to see their kids, and it's exactly the same as me. You know, their mum's manipulating them, and they tell them this, tell them that. You know, and it's just like, and
we're in a place in society now where instead of going, well, why did he that gap in the middle between good and bad in some cases with some men. That gap in the middle, why did he become that? What happened in that gap to make him become this? But a lot of females don't see that. They see the beginning good and the end, look, he's bad now. And that's it. But why in a lot of people, this is a slightly different subject, but I've had a lot of comments from, you know, older middle-aged women. Who, you know, they've outspoken about men. I was with a man I was married to him for 12 years. The first 10 years was great. Everything was going fine. He was fine. The last 2 years, he became abusive, turned into an animal, was controlling me. Right. And a lot of the women on there, I spat my mic. A lot of the women on there, I see comments, you know, because it's a great thing, but it's a bad thing. Women are always quick to jump on with each other. Don't you worry, girl. He didn't deserve you and stuff like that. He shouldn't be controlling you, stuff like that. You're right, he shouldn't. But what happened in those 10 years? Why was he perfect? Then all of a sudden, the 11th and 12th year, he become bad. What did you neglect throughout your marriage? Do you know what I mean? For him to become that, you can't keep. You know, that's the true manipulative behavior. Is when a man finally breaks out and loses his shit due to your toxic disrespect and stuff like that throughout a relationship, and then you then blame him for his outburst. They need to start asking. Women really do, you know, and obviously same-sex partners and so on and stuff like that. Obviously, ask each other, but you know, kind of male and female, a lot of female need to start asking, instead of jumping straight on with other females going, well, he was a piece of shit, stuff like girl mates do. Ask, well, why did he become that? What made him into that? Did you did you neglect his thoughts, his feelings?
Well, that's it, mate.
Did you help out with this? And so it's not. Women don't care about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of narcissism in it, you know.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of that, you know. But again, a narcissist doesn't see that trait in themselves. You know what I mean? They're just my agenda's it, you know. And it could be
it's tunnel vision, isn't it?
Well, it's that narcissism because they haven't got that. It's like a psychopath, isn't it? Like they haven't got that part of that brain that says, "Oh, I should be chopping people up or doing this or whatever." You know, it's just like, and a narcissist, you know, and again, it could be like a male to a female or a female to a male. You know, like domestic abuse goes both ways.
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
Like, you know, so it's you know, that pendulum swings both ways, but you know, and it's it is, you know, or why people, you know, people cheating, or for instance, and stuff like that, you know, or like I said, or they snap, and then it's just like, you know,
that's sorry, a good subject you said about cheating, though, because obviously our mates have cheated and so on and stuff like that. But it's one of them. Obviously, don't agree with it. You shouldn't do it. No, but and a lot of women always say it doesn't matter. You shouldn't. It's like, you're right. You shouldn't do it anyway. But why? Maybe ask why. Was you maybe doing something wrong that pushed him? If you were finding the love, nurture, comfort with you in his own home, then maybe why did he do it? And it's not saying that it's maybe for your next relationship, that's something for you to work on to better yourself.
Well,
so you don't maybe neglect your next partner and so on. But a lot of that, I'd say, in the female world doesn't seem to be talked about. It's always just pro. You go. But with men, like, you do something stupid and your friend will go, "You're a fucking idiot for doing that. Why did you do that? You should have done this. Make sure you don't fuck this up for the next thing." Look, that's how men talk to each other. But you know,
it does it, you know, and it goes, you know, something different, and it's like, you know, the intimacy. Do you know what I mean? Relationships when you've been together a long time, the intimacy, you know, that falls off. Do you know what I mean? Or you have children, you know, you kind of lose sight of your couple. You just become a mum and a dad. Do you know what I mean? And that intimacy, you don't make time for each other, you know, but I think, like, a lot of time in life now, you know, it's like, you know, you're trying to maintain, you know, home life, work, you know, trying to drink enough water, trying to fucking eat healthy, you know.
You got it these days.
You know, it's like there's so much shit to juggle, you know. So things do fall off, you know what I mean, and intimacy. But like I said, but as long as you're strong, and again, communication, man, just communicate with each other, and as long as you know, like I said, people do cheat because they're going to be a part of the time where I just want to cheat, or there's going to be a time where, like I said, you haven't had sex for 6 months. You know what I mean? Shit's going on. You know, you're trying to, you know, decorate the house, or, you know, you're trying to do this, or you're starting a new business. You know, there's so much shit. So I think every case is, like I said, is unique or different. You know, but it's like, just fucking communicate, mate. Do you know what I mean? And I think
you've got to talk about it. You
know, like, generation now, they're just too easy to give up. Like, me and my ex were together 15 years, mate. Do you know what I mean? And unfortunately, you know, we didn't cheat, wasn't violent, but, you know, it was just that we just went it till the wheels fall off, mate. By the end of it, I'm sleeping in the kids' room on the floor, and she's in the bedroom. Do you know what I mean? And for the last 2 years, we were just like cohabitating in the same house, you know. But I would have been happy to stay and be miserable for the next 18 years. So my girls, you know, and that's why I beat myself up now, because we kind of ended the relationship amicably, literally, in this room that we're in now. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, but my first case was like I remember when my partner said it, but we can't keep doing this. It was like, I've never physically felt like the fucking weight of the world lifted off my shoulders so much. But then it was like, fuck, what about my girls? Shit, you know what I mean? And then, you know.
But would you say, though, because I was, a lot of men obviously have said this to me, like in live videos and stuff like that obviously if a woman kind of, like you said, maybe instigates, I think this is it and stuff like that, they're kind of almost congratulated by family members, friends. It's like, if you're not happy, that's fine. But I would feel the same way, and I have done in the past. I don't have kids, but I have done in the past. When I knew I had to break up with someone, I was like, I'm miserable. I'm fucking miserable. I'm so unhappy that I kept staying in it, even though I knew I was unhappy and miserable, because I thought, and well, not that I thought, I knew I'd be shamed if I then end it. And I actually was. In past relationship, I was then shamed for it. Well, you're evil for doing that. And I thought, why? But if a woman's unhappy, it's fine. It's
I mean, mate, you should never be shamed for that. And again, you know, like I said, just coming my experience right now, you know, said, you know, nobody cheated in that, but it was like I said, that now, it was almost like that, like I said, that Harry Potter analogy. You know, when like Voldemort, when Luna says, "Hey, you know, oh, if I was, I want you to sort of, segregate from all your friends, and I want you to feel like you didn't have anyone."
Yeah,
and that's a narcissistic trait for But like you said, but you've got to do what's best for you.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would have been happy. For me, it's only because I tried to stay for as long as I could because for my girls. Because I didn't want them to be raised in, single parent house, separate house. But at the same time, I remember once we was having an argument. And it wasn't never physical, but but you shouting at, and the girls, kids are like sponges. They see everything, man.
Oh yeah, no.
And it got to the point where I'd leave the house. Oh, you're not giving mommy a kiss goodbye. It used to fucking break my heart. And I remember we had an argument there. We were like shouting, and I just saw my girls just sat down and my youngest was just sat on the floor in her ears, and I was like, "Babe, that's enough. Do you know what I mean? No more now."
Yeah.
But like you said, I did. I felt that guilt. And even to this day, it's been 4 years, and I still feel guilty now. So I think, well, maybe if I tried to make it work longer, but I'll still be seeing my girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's why. And that's a crazy thought, but
it's one of those things. It's one life. You've got to live it to the best you can. Because if you keep yourself miserable, what life is it?
Of course, you've got one, mate. And that's what we had. For fucking, like I said, 2 years, mate. We were just living in the we weren't doing it, and it was like, and it's like yourself. Although you haven't got kids, it's like for your mental health and your, physical health, everything. Mate, like life's too short. Like if you're not happy with that person, but like regardless of not regardless, of course you're taking their feelings into account, which is why you stayed for so long. But you just got to break free of that situation. Like if you're in a dead end job, it's easy.
Yeah,
you've
got to leave. You've got to do it.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, and it's easy to say, oh man, you've got to get, you've got to do like. With tattooing, for instance, like had I not had that money put by, I just said to my mate Stevie, look, I'll give you. I don't know how long it would have took me to broke in the industry, or if I ever would have, mate. So I know it's easy for to say to someone, just do it, to break free. But the way like everything, like, I'm not going to put doom and gloom, but the way it costs to live and I get it. Some people feel like they are fucking trapped, man. Like in their situation, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, or or anything like trying to lose weight, or just and whatever sort of like little journey you're on. So shit, it's just like shit gets in the way, but you've got to, like you said, you've got to find a way to have those little, little things take your mind off it all.
This is what I say to a lot of men out there as well, because I've had men that say it all the time. They're like, "Oh, I'm struggling, I haven't got any money," and you think you need to break into a different mentality, like kind of we do, for instance. Especially like I've sat at home and I've done this in the past when I used to run a detailing business, stuff like called TTP and car meet, all this stuff. I never had the money for that, but I sat there and I looked around and I was like, well, I took this old car part off. I could sell that on eBay. That'll make me 20 quid. I could do that. I could do that. And I was just looking around. I was like, right, what old crap have I got in the house that I don't need? Like this is how you got to start thinking. Like, right, I'll sell that. Let's get rid of that. It clears up some room. You've made a bit of extra money. And then you think, right, now how can I make money with it? And before I ended up buying ounces of silver.
Right.
I literally bought it. I can't really say the company, I suppose, but I had like a spare like £100, and I was like, oh, I'll buy some silver with it. And the next month the market went up, and I sold it for 180. It was only £80 later, but then that extra money, I was like, right, now I can buy this. Now I can buy that. Now I can sell this. And then you end up building it up. So now like I have a full functioning clothing brand that's out.
Mate, exactly.
Why not quickly? I'll pop it up if anyone is interested. And if I can find it, which I don't think I can now, it's just not going too well, is it? Oh, some QR codes, that's it. Yeah, but search that up if anyone is interested. But no, it's stuff like that. And I had a lot of friends growing up all the time, and he might watch us and he'll know who he is. that's funny. But I spoke to him and he said, people will talk and stuff like that, and people kind of know me where I'll go 100. If I find a new hobby, I'll 100% of it. I'll start investing money in it. It's silly, but it's like an entrepreneur. I go out to make myself money in any way I can. And I had a lot of my friends, and they know of that, laughed at me about it, like that. But fucking during COVID, when I was running this thing that everyone's laughing at me for, it done my rent, my food, it paid for everything. I was actually the point. If it didn't go bad, how it did, due to like the one and a few of the companies I was going through went bankrupt, and I couldn't find a quick enough company to then start it going again. I had to shut and end up having to sell the business. But I was doing all that. I was at that point. If COVID didn't hit, I could have left my full-time job to do that. I had built with the help of my missus, obviously, and close friends, built for the ground up, and I don't know, I could have done it. So it's a mentality thing. If there's, like men, if you're sat home watching this now and you're thinking, if there's dreams or goals you want to do, you do it. Yeah. But you've got to stop sitting down, lazing around, and you've got to fucking get up and little steps like that. Can I sell this? How can I make a bit of money? And then I could buy this. Even on setting this up where we are now. Yeah. Even I was like, right, I need to put some spare money for the camera and stuff like that. And then I was like, well, I don't need this shit. Let's sell that, get rid of that. Right, go pick up the cameras and I'll go buy this and buy that, stuff like that. Work these days, get the mic. It's simple steps like that. You just got to make the first step, and then it's a domino effect. And
it exactly is, yeah. I was the same bad. I was fortunate we got the government grant, so my tattoo shop was closed for a year. So I was like, right, I had this premises, and I was like, what can we do? Okay, well, we just got the dogs, got a diploma in dog nutrition, which we did online for like pet peanuts. And I bought 7, and before we knew it, I bought 7 freezers, and I had this place was like a successful dog feeding business, for all through COVID, and unfortunately, when I wanted to get back in the tattoo and took the premises back over, I was like you, we could have kept it going, but obviously, it's just finding those ways, like I said, like Vinted, all these different apps. You've got clothing laying around, fucking get on there and sell it, mate.
Definitely.
Anything, man. Like I said, you just got to change that mindset, into start small.
Yeah, and you better yourself, wouldn't you, in the long run. But there's too many. Like this thing, we're out here talking about this because we have done that.
Yeah,
we've gone out, done these little things. That's why I would say we can talk about it. But there's a lot of men. Men need to stop. Some men need to stop talking about it, and you need to do it. I know it's easier said than done, but just little steps, tiny little baby steps, and you'll get there. I mean, old gaming consoles, retro ones are selling for good money. If you've got them laying around, and you think, I can't do this because I need £200 or £1,000, sell them, get rid of them. You don't need them. If you haven't used something for over a year, you're not going to need it or use it. So just start with little steps, and you can build up that way. If you want to start talking about things that you're passionate about, start stuff like this. Start a TikTok account, Instagram account. It's baby steps, but then it does come into a factor as well. Like before I started doing podcasting, it was actually my missus that pushed me to do it. She knew I wanted to do it, but I got to give gratitude to her because I was like, sign me up for certain things. I'm right, go and do it. Threw me in the deep end. I was like, shit. So I was there, and I was on Just Pearly Things in London and stuff like that, with the real MTR and Sarah and stuff like that, talking to them. And I think it's King Melody. I'll put links to it down the bottom to those guys because they are some good guys and women that I
exactly, but and that was it. You just like, I'm a big believer in sort of karma and stuff like that, and I think everything happens for a reason, so even if there's things that will happen now, and I know again it's easy to go, like I'm some sort of fucking guru, but I'm not trying, but like you do, like there's shit happened in my past, you think, oh my god, and then but like it might be a year, it might be 2 years, you think, fuck, that happened, because I wouldn't be where I am now, or this, that, and other. But and I'm like you. My last relationship I was in, it was me that was like, and I'm not trying to sound like a saint, but it was like, it was when I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, well, I find that we've got this, we've got the best, and she get bored. But it was me, like, because I was a sole earner at that time, and I'm not like trying to be shown, but at the time, I was earning good money. I was out in the Middle East. So I was finding doing this, doing that, and it's like, but it was, it was never reciprocated. If I want to do something, like you said, I want to turn this into a cider bar. I said, I want to do this cider bar. He laughed at me, and then before 6 months later, with the licensing, this place was rocking. And it was like, so I'm like you, there are certain things, and I get certain people are restricted. Like they might not have the money to be able to do that. But, it's like if you start small and you want to chase that dream, then like chase it, man. Like go for it. There are ways and means. And so for me, it was just, like
you got to put the sweat in.
I've been in a relationship now with my partner now. Like who's like, like your partner. Like, she's so like, fucking, do it. If I say I want to do something, do it. Let's go.
Start looking on Google for you and stuff like that. Like, I found this, I found that.
And I feel there's times when I'm like, what we're doing, and she's like my number one supporter. She's like my biggest fan. Like, babe, do it, go for it.
And that's the thing. Like, if any of you guys out there are in relationships and you feel like you can't leave, you're stuck, you got to do it. If you are that miserable and you can't chase your goals because you're in a relationship that's holding you back, do not feel ashamed to then leave that to better yourself. If you have to, do it. We've done it, and it worked out so great. You just got to do it. So, because I know a lot of men struggle with that. They sit there and think, "Well, I can't do this. Their family going to hate me," and stuff like that. People in life are going to hate you. There's nothing you can do about it. You get to the point where you just go, "Is what it is. Fuck it," and go out there and do it.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Oh, there's so many people fucking hate me.
People hate me for something I even done. Like I said again, I don't want to keep harping on, but my relationship, like people hate me. They don't even know me. And I'm like, I haven't even done anything wrong. You know what I mean?
It's almost,
you know what I mean? And it's like, wow, so for me, I'm like,
But it's almost like rumours, isn't it? And they start talking, and you go, really? What happened next? Like you're as entertained as they are. And you're like thinking, what did I do after that? Because you're like, fucking hell. I didn't even know that.
But like we said, mate, you throw enough shit that someone's going to stick. So people are going to hate you for whatever the fuck you do. So you might as well just graft. But again, it's life's too short, man.
Yeah, the thing you can die tomorrow, and then what? You'd be known as the people pleaser. What is the point? Or you'd be known as the bold, out there guy that fucking chased his dreams and done what he wanted to do. And that's really what kind of a lot of men need to try and get in the mindset. And like we keep saying, it's easier said than done. I've been there, sat there in shitty apartments and houses and stuff like that, in shitty areas, Shirley. And I've been sat there, like, literally staring at the wall, going, my life's going fucking nowhere. I'm miserable, this and that. And I sat there, fucking putting on a bit of weight. I still haven't lost, but like stuff like that. And I was doing nothing, and it's just St. Clicks, and that's why I know a lot of people are against Fresh and Fit, and Andrew Tate and stuff like that. If you listen to a lot of their full videos, not the clips and cuts that people take out of content and mash together and start believing in that bullshit. It's like Andrew Tate, for instance. If you listen to some of the stuff he says, he really is out there to try and better men. Especially like Moran from Fresh and Fit. He's out there saying, he generally cares. It's the same as us. What I'm doing is I'm fed up with guys killing themselves over women. There's obviously other reasons, of course, but it's stuff like that. I get so angry about it. I sit at home and I literally lose sleep over it. When I hear like friends are not here anymore, and it's because they couldn't speak and it was over a woman and stuff like that, it makes me physically angry because I think you don't need to do it. But that's why, in the hopes that by doing stuff like this, hopefully people can try and speak up about more. But also we're giving our own stories. Like, there's a lot of men out there have suffered the same shit. We've all got the same Lego bricks to build the same sculpture. We've just got different instructions on how to build it.
I mean, and I think it's like the spectrum, isn't it? It's such a broad thing, and I think it's the individual and stuff like that. It's I've been through stuff, you've been through stuff, and there's thousands, millions of people around the world. Everyone's going through stuff, and at the time you feel like you're the only one going through it at the time. You know what I mean? And it does work both ways. But I think like you said, for us specifically, we're trying to target men and sort of thing. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it's just it's unfortunately like our friend we both know. Relationships and stuff like that. And it's just like I think it's hard because you got to have that like for me, like I said to you before. I want to turn my life around because I want to give my girls everything I never had. I think when you kind of lose sight of that, and you're in that tunnel vision where you think that's all you've got and stuff like that, and unfortunately, like some guys, when their relationship ends and they don't see their kids, and they think that taking their lives it's the only way, or it's
not the only way. It's such a shame to lose a life over things that if you really put your mind to it are just not important. Well, there's a lot of things you do not need to lose sleep, and you will lose sleep over it, of course. But there's so many things and actions that, listen to kind of the things we're saying. There's a lot of ways that you can try to get help. And like we said, if you check out this email here, look at the bottom of the screen and pop up there. If you are a man and you sat out there and you don't necessarily want to take that first step, send an email to that email, and I'll personally email you back with numbers and places I've personally spoken to, or even if you just want to email in, if you're upset about something and you need answers, email in.
Talk to,
and we'll answer it. But obviously in the future, while we're doing stuff like this as well, you'll actually be able to message in on here, not on this one, but going forward in the next few days, weeks and stuff, you'll be able to message in live while we're doing this, and hopefully we can try and answer some of the tricky subjects that you're talking about.
100%, mate. But yeah, I think it's the same with like from my side, combat PTSD.
Yeah.
Like I think I've always, and I don't know why, like I said, I don't know why, I mean, I've got certain things, like I said before, like I can't have a fan on at night because I think that ambient noise in the background, if I can't hear what's going on around me, do you know what I mean? It subconsciously just keep me awake, and it won't, but then obviously, the more you awaken and you start thinking like this or that little contact or these little things, and I think that's when, those little triggers can, and before you know it, I'm, okay, I'll fucking get up, I'll pick my iPad up or something like that, take my mind off things, and next, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're still fucking wide awake, and so TikTok hole, you're like, you know what I mean, and so, it is hard because everybody's wired differently, and I think just as long as you know that, like, it's okay not to be okay, do you know what I mean? And,
absolutely.
Even if someone, like I said, just sending us an email or someone comments on I think it's just like, I've been replying to everyone who's gone onto my Tattoo Gentleman on TikTok. I did a reaction video, and it did trigger. I mean, that was like the third time I watched the video. The first 2 times I was fucking bawling my eyes out, and I couldn't. I think the cop out, he didn't shoot that veteran, man, and he held it so fucking well. But like said, that was for a reason. If that was just a normal cop out, he's having a bad day, he might have shot the guy. But if he turned out to be a fucking veteran who saved his life, do you know what I mean? So I loaded the weapon and he did shoot. Amazing, So, but again, but like we said, just those little things where just those little random acts of kindness, or just or even like when you're in the gym, or some fucking lads are buffing and in the gym, and you go, yeah, mate, fucking doing well. Do you know? But a lot of blokes are like, oh, this big cunt here, do you know what I mean? It's like, no, and just like, I know everyone's wired differently, but just that little bit of positivity, you go, yeah, fucking hell, mate. You look good, do you know what I mean?
And that's it.
But men don't do that, do you know what I mean?
Or they don't even receive it.
Or they don't receive, or they don't know, or like, we try to be fucking sarcastic. No, mate. Like, I'm saying, dude, you look, that's like me. I'm comfortable in my own skin enough that, like, I can self-deprecate. I take the piss out of myself. Do you know what I mean? I'll point a bit like, you fucking hell. Like,
self-burns.
Like the lads to see me for years when I was in the forces and I was fucking ripped in it. Like, fucking hell, Georgie, you fireworks packed up or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, I've just got a fat sit on my ass all day. I'm 45, you know what I mean?
Even my old man started around to me. He's like, fuck me, you'll get fat. And you're like, I am. Do you know no response. I am. But again, that's that. Like, it's that thick skin in it where you go, you can accept that. Where some people that might, it's just it might upset them or whatever. But it's just having that, just that mental fortitude. Just go, But I know, you can get back in the gym, or you can do it, or like I said, if you can't afford a gym, just go out and do a bit of just get in fresh air. Man. Start running. That's if you've got a dog, walk your dog more.
I mean, there's so many things, but like, that would be another thing. It'd be interesting for people to just, let us know like how you. It's like. Just to say to people, like, how do you deal with it? It's like, is it fitness? Are you yoga? Is it meditation? Are you medicating? Self-medicating, or are you on prescription? Just but again, just get out and get a bit of fresh air, man. It can change your fucking day. Like, just go for a walk down the shore. It's just like, come back in or take the dogs for a walk, and you just feel so much better. So,
but it's something like you just said there, like the medication side as well. I know. This is something I want to try. Not everyone would agree, but I personally want to try to snap people out of when you get diagnosed with depression and stuff. They obviously, I've got family members and friends that are on the tablets, and they but then they start really relying on these tablets. It's like having a fuck knee. You the pain's there maybe beforehand, before there was a serious injury, and you start taking painkillers, and you keep going because it keeps the pain away. But then you need to sit there and think, why is it hurting? What's the fundamental reason why that's hurting? Go get it checked out. You got to do the exact same thing with your mind. You can't. Try not to take these tablets to just mask it. Think, why is this happening? Why are you thinking that way? What is surrounding you that's causing that way? And try to kind of tackle that. Even one thing I used to do, I used to like write things down. When I used to lose my shit over something, I'd go on my phone and write what happened. It sounds a bit sad to some people, but it's one of them. Like I write it down and I look back at it and go, right, I don't need to get angry about that. I could stop this happening by doing this, and I'd go through like a little tick.
It's a process, mate. And that's a massive thing, you know. Just let's say writing things down, and you know, it's just like there's breathing techniques in there and stuff like that, you know. And like for me, that's like I'll be the first. Like you know, especially when I'm driving and I encounter dickheads on the road, like you know, I'll get very road rage. You know, and I can't, because it's just like, you know, it's when someone's like just completely fucking oblivious to what they're doing. And it makes me like so angry, because it's just like, you could have fucking killed me and my family, or you know what I mean? It's just like, dude, just you know, but then you know you try to think of the flip side of it, like, well, or maybe they just had bad news, or do you know what I mean? So I tried it, and I sort of tell myself before, like I said to you before, I get in the car and I'm like, do you know what? Like, I know I'm going to encounter dickheads, like. Just fucking leave it alone. Don't react. You know?
Get to that goal.
And I literally, mate, I tell my missus, it's like, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to react. Do you know what I mean? And you know, and I try. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I haven't. I don't even. My missus laugh in the car because she knows I'll get. Oh, mate, I've had issues where I've been like driving out of a parking space at like shopping centres and stuff, and there's been two guys staring, and I've rolled down the window, stopped the car, and gone, do you want something, mate? You don't need to. But I've been in the car and I'm like, right, just get home because I know I'm getting angry. And, you know, women or some man or someone will pull out right in front of me, nearly crashing. I'm like, oh, and I grip the steering wheel and I'm like, accidents happen. That's fine. And it's just keep going.
But that's it, because you've got to, haven't you? Because like I said, you can come on, you know, you could stop, you know, you get out of the car, he's either going to whack you, or you whack someone, you're going to get arrested, or he punches you, you're going to get hurt. You know, it's a lose-lose, do you know what I mean? And like you said, you've really just got to, and I know it's hard, do you know what I mean? But I have to literally tell myself, just don't fucking react. Do you know what I mean?
Think of your end goal.
I know I'm going to encounter some dickheads. Just, mate, just crack on, you know, get from A to B. It's just be, you know what I mean? So, and it works, you know what I mean? Like for me, I'm just like, you know. So if I tell myself, because you know, that's what I think you need to realise when you're driving the road. Like you're sharing the road with fucking idiots, mate. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I'll do a 4-minute drive from my home to here, and I'll encounter at least like 3 or 4, and you just like, you know, just don't react, you know.
Just get to the shop and do this for the day. Everything will be fine. But there's just little tactics like that do work.
It works for me, like, you know.
And you do need to, it's things like that. You do need to try and change your mentality of thinking.
Again, and then that's exactly it. That's 100% it. Like, it's changing your mentality and how you think. You know, like, you know, I could react and stuff like that. You know, or you get out, like I said, and it's lose-lose. You know, or you could just, you know, like I said to you, that guy. You know, he cut me up, and we were just like, and we both just sort of like went, well, I didn't see you behind the bus, and he was like, mate, I'm sorry, Paul. And we just went, peace, and we just drove off, and it was cool. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, yeah, man, like we both like, do you know what, both being a bit dickheads here, and you know, and it's nice when you can, you know.
Joe, it's funny. It's so funny you say that, because I've had that exact same thing where guys end up shouting, going, do you want to fight about it? And it's like, well, not really, but if we have to, and it's like, well, I don't want to, and you're like, well, what are we doing then?
Have a good day.
Oh, see you later then. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, brother. You know, and it is fun, you know, and it's nice when it's like that, you know. But like you said, just changing that mentality of like, well, get in the car, like I'm going to count some pricks, don't react to it, don't bite, you know, and you can change the outcome. Whereas if you don't, you know, like we said before, you know, if you're having a shit day, or you know, if you want to change your job, or you're in a, you know, it's just like, you know, if you can. Or you can do little tiny, like little minuscule things to try and like make your day better or your life better, or change it in some way. Then, so you said, just changing how you've, you know, or try to change how you think. I know you can't be serious, but like just change your mind. It's hard. You know? It's a process.
It's a process then. It starts with little steps. If you can change little, it's even like, I don't know, say you're maybe diabetic or something in life, and you need to have less sugar. Swap out for sweetener. It's just little things like that. If you can change something minute and small like that and stick with it, then move on to something bigger and bigger and bigger, and then before you know it, your life's completely changed and you're a better person.
But that's it, isn't it? And mate, I've been guilty of it. You know, like you know, I've always been a big eater and stuff like that. But again, it's just, you know, changing, if you want to lose weight or you want to get fit or you want to, it's like, it's got to be a lifestyle, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's not like a quick fix, I've got this diet.
No,
it's like,
it always
like
takes time.
It's just a little thing. And I'm more than guilty of it myself. I'll go home and say, I can't go off to cook, so we get takeaway. Yeah. But it's only because my missus is on a diet, bless her, and she's like, no, you know, and like, it's been so much better. Like, we were going to like Costco and grabbing a load of meat and that for the week, you know, and it's just those little habits, or like, you know, bringing some food with me. Otherwise, I'm not eating all day. If I'm tattooed for like 6 hours and I'm, you know, I'm 21 stone, so if I don't eat, I go home and I'm shaking like a shit dog, and I'm like, oh, you know, I feel like shit, and then I'll eat crap because I'm crashing, you know.
Yeah.
So if I can bring food, but again, it's making that conscious decision. Like, I'm going to take some food with me at work. You know what I mean? I'll just grab a sandwich or this, that, and the other, and you know, little things like that. But.
So even things I used to have a little board of write things out throughout the week that I need to accomplish. If you can try, like, at the moment now, I try to live every day. I need to accomplish one task a day, even if it's something small, like cutting a bush down in the garden or something stupid. I'll write it down, and then I know if I've done that task, and then I feel better. I'm like, right, I've done something productive throughout the day, and it's productivity is such a big mind help. It's stuff like that. If you keep yourself proactive in life, you don't have time to sit there and think about it. But if you are one of these guys that sits at home all day in a chair on a bed, thinking, you've got to start picking up stuff to change it.
Yeah, well, as I said to you, you know, when I was out, you know, in the Middle East, or you know, do security over here and stuff like that. You know, when I used to read my girls like stories that, you know, at night time, they'd have 1,000 books in this, you know, like a massive IKEA. But they'd always want the same 1 or 2 books. So I start making up stories, you know, just off the top of my head, and girls used to love them. So I remember, Daddy wrote them down. So I started writing like little stories down when I was away. You know, essentially from the other day, I was looking at the film, I was like, these aren't bad, you know. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, but even like I said, if you've got a bit of time, mate, you know, they always say, you know, that little idea you might have, that could be someone's bestseller. Do you know what I mean? Like, just write a book, you know, self-publish it on Amazon.
You never know.
Do you know what I mean? Just write your shit down, you know.
But it's one of those because people surround those individuals and go, oh yeah, but it's 1 in a million chance. It's never going to happen to me and stuff like that. I've thought that of loads of things. I bet even lottery winners thought that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that is a bit on a ridiculous side, but but still, it's one of them. Like you sit there never, and then one day you sat there doing something that you had that feeling of.
Yeah.
So like clothing business stuff like that. So I was like, it's never going to work. It's not going to make sales. I'm sat there and it is making sales and it is working. It's like it's one of those it's one of those strange things. It's
that's the thing, isn't it? It's giving those, you know, because like you said, that one little idea you have, you just never know, don't you? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, you just start small with it, but like you said, it's just the it's just I think it's just having that motivation to just go for it, you know, take that little leap, or you know. And
I'd say it always starts with speaking about it first. If you talk to someone about it, you know, hopefully if you surrounded yourself with the right people, then they can start bigging you up on it. And when you start kind of throwing ideas back and forward, that's when it then starts getting you ready and starts getting you lost the word I'm after. But just starts getting you prepared in your own mind to then tackle what kind of ideas that you have and stuff like that. So speak about it. Start talking about these things, and hopefully it can always go well for it.
Well, that's what I mean, you know. But like you said, this is the first podcast we did.
Yeah.
So well, it's going to be the first of many, and we're, you know.
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Check down below.
And so first of many, and we'll just we'll just keep building from here, and
we're out here talking stuff.
You know what I mean?
But like I said, because it's one of those, it's such a big thing because there's so many podcasts out there. Because I've had people saying, like, you know, there's quite a few out there. And like, but there is none that I've been able to find that talks on kind of these subjects. And it's not even us going anything against women or stuff like that. But you know, if we're being for real, there's so much in society in place for women. There's a lot of things for women. You know, if you want to. If women are unhappy in their marriage and they want to leave, take half the man's stuff, take the kids, they can do that. You know, if women need to get funded by the government, they can do that. You know, if the women wants to get rid of a child, they can do that without the man's consent. Like there's just so many different things in life that you can do, that women can do, that men can, and there's just not enough people out there talking about that. Us men, you can. There are stuff that maybe you're sat there watching us now thinking, I can't do that. You can. you can do it, and that is why.
No, that's a good point, mate. I mean, I think I heard someone say before. I think if it's a woman's work to like, you have a one night stand or whatever, or and they get pregnant, like I think it should be consensual. Like, do you know what I mean? If you're going to have that baby, then I think a man should have his right, to say, well, why should he be sort of financially and whatever, obligated for the next 16 to 18 years? If it's not consensual for that, do you know what I mean? Like, so it works both ways. But I think that should be.
But that's the big thing they keep talking about, because a lot of women are always, and this affects a lot of men's mental health, because a lot of women, and I've got friends who, like I said, will watch this, know who they are, but I'm never going to fucking say who it is. That kind of have sex with a partner and that, and women are always quick. It takes two to tango and stuff like that. And you even these days, you've got women that are using abortions as a form of birth control. I think if you don't want a kid, you should have the right to your own body. But when you start using it as a form of birth control, that's when it gets that's just ridiculous.
I mean,
it gets onto strange topics, but it's things like that.
That's beyond my question.
But no, I know what you mean.
It's
saying stuff like, why does he have to do it? Because I've worked with people where they've had like 2 kids with a partner, and then half their wages, weekly, monthly, are then getting paid out.
Yeah.
And they've sat there and said, well, at the beginning, I never even wanted the kid. It happened, and I didn't want it. I asked her if she was on the pill. She said yes. So we didn't use a condom because she said she was on the pill. Turns out she lied. So why then has that man got to pay for it? And all women are always quick to say, well, it takes 2 to tango. And it's like, it does take 2 to tango. It's like, but throughout COVID, right? Just as for an example, when it was going around, what was they saying? They was going, you need to protect yourself. We can't get rid of this.
That's right.
You can't get rid of this. This what's happening. So protect yourself, and it is the same type of scenario. You protect your own body.
Well, that's it, mate. Absolutely.
And discuss with him first. Like if you've told this man you're on the pill, I can't get pregnant, like that. Well, he's not going to think more, is he? Like, it's a different topic, but. It's people wonder why there's so many men out there.
Definitely touch on that one.
Being so miserable. Necessarily sometimes there are men out there, kids, and they say, well, why aren't they bothering with kids? It's like, because they never wanted them. You forced the man to next 18 years. It's not 18 years though, is it? It is for life. But, but I mean, financially, 18 years.
If you're not in a relationship and that man's not having a relationship with that child, it's like. For that reason, I think that it is hard because, like I said, he's obliged to contractually and legally bound to that. And
I
he
can never come out of that either.
No, because it's unfair on the child because they're going to grow up without a dad. It's unfair for the woman because she hasn't got support. So it's a lose-lose. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a male, it's poor man or poor woman, or it's like everything fucking loses, man. Like I didn't realise because my mum never spoke about it, but. I only found out from my dad that, the time when my mum and dad met, my dad was 19, my mum was 30, and we had 3 kids, so my 2 brothers and my sister. So then I come along, my dad fucks off, do you know what I mean? And it was like, okay, you can't miss what you never had, but I think it made it hard because when I was 13, my dad moved local, do you know what I mean? And then we started a relationship for the next 3 years, and then, because he's an alcoholic, he died, do you know what I mean? His liver packed up. But it's kind of surreal feeling like my dad was 38 when he died, and I've outlived my dad. So it's kind of a weird thing, But and it's one of those. But I think it's hard because I'm probably like staff. Well, we all know. I know absolute deadbeats. You know what I mean? That's, they think that seeing their kid is taking them in the pub or whatever. And it's like, but their exes don't give them no shit. The kids think he's an absolute god. And then but then I've got I'm working on my bike, trying to support. I want to see my girls. And I've always been there for them. I've got my shit together. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. And it's like, oh no, I'm gonna stop this man. Saying I don't want to listen to dad. You know what I mean? It's like you said. Most girls, or I grew up. I remember one of my best mates. His sister, and I remember them growing up, and I always thought, oh man, she's got her shit together. And I'm like, because. Their mum and dad was together, and I always looked up to her dad as well. He was like a father figure, to us when we were playing rugby and stuff. So growing up when we were colts from sort of 9 through to teenagers and stuff like that, he was always there for us. He was our coach and stuff. But that support structure and that confidence, I'll always, it's just like just knowing that. your mum and or your dad, your dad's got your back no matter what. Do you know what I mean? And having all girls, like in the society that we live in now, like I'm not saying, but like with jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, like I love jiu-jitsu and I want my girls to practice that because size and strength means nothing. Do you know what I mean? And
if you know the right tactics.
I want them to learn that, because it's a beautiful martial arts and this amazing system, and I think it's so effective.
Because the thing is that we know how other men think.
It's
one of them, and that's why when a lot of women try to combat us when we're like, don't dress this way, or not even try not to dress like this and stuff like that. It's not men trying to control you. It's because we know how other men think. We're just trying to fucking protect you against it.
Because there's fucking savages out there that haven't got the self-control.
Yes,
when they see how an athletic girl try and grab some tits or a bit of it. It's like it's like anything. It's like a woman or girl or female or any fucking one. Where, you should be able to walk through a park at night and be fucking. But that's not the world we live in.
Exactly.
There's some fucking lunatics.
That's what I was going to say. You should be able to dress exactly how you want.
Exactly.
You should be able to walk through an empty park at 1 o'clock in the morning. But that's just not life.
Exactly.
It's just not how it is. And that's the same in most countries. Most countries are like that. I know, because I know they always say, a lot of women always turn around and kind of, they love to blame men, they do.
Yeah.
And they always sit there and say, well, men should have the self-control. You're absolutely right. They should. But some don't. And there's even women out there, some women, not as much as men, granted, but there is some women out there that also don't have the self-control. But you won't get men going out there, well, she should have had. No, it's like, well, because men are always quick, right? It's if you walk in, if I walk out here now, right? Say I walk out there after this, and I've got £500 cash in my wallet, and I'm sat there counting it out in the open. Someone goes past me on a cycle or a bike, anything, pulls it out. What would you say to me? You say, why the fuck was you out there counting £500 cash in front of everyone? You wouldn't go, he's a scumbag, he shouldn't be doing that. It's why was you doing that? You shouldn't have been doing that. What did you think was going to happen? You idiot. And that's what kind of men are better at. We'll shame each other. But fuck me, after you say that, I ain't going to do it again.
Well, that's it. But, and it's like I've always said, mate, like, prevention is better than your cure. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So, it's trying to fucking, like I said, that situation happening. But like preventing it, like, I'll just put your money in your wallet, mate, before you step out. So, it's like I've had it before, mate. I've come out here, I mean, again, it's a slightly different thing, but I've had it before where, I walked out of here one night and there's two nippers walking up the road and I had my laptop in my hand, so I'd take it and do some work.
Yeah.
And I heard one of them, I should try and take it. And I thought, you can try.
Yeah, so it's not going to end well
for you, but do you know what I mean? But again, it's like, well, but it's like anything, mate, and it's just like, unfortunately, that's like, that you've got to think that way. Before we'll cover it next time, but
we're already some of these other things we've got. Maybe gone off topic, but it's because it all comes into play, doesn't it? But we'll talk kind of on this separate subject. But rolling back kind of what we were talking about earlier is one funny story I was going to say. I completely forgot. One of you know what, they're going to see this as well. I know it's but I keep saying that, but it's like one of my old workplaces. I got basically a friend of mine in MOT, and stuff like that, and she was kind of saying, I had broke up my relationship, I had a one night stand, and I'm pregnant. And I was like, right, okay, stuff like that. And she goes, but he wants nothing to do with it. He's a bit scatty about it. He's not happy. He's not ready. He's told me this, but I've come to terms that I've agreed with that. But I want the baby. And I was like, well, if you're happy to take on your own, and that's what you want, and you've mutually agreed, whatever in person, that's fine. She's like, yeah, that's what I want. And I was like, happy days for you then. You got what you wanted, not necessarily in the right way.
Yeah.
But then the shittiest thing happened is when she realised financially how much of a struggle it is, she then called this guy out on social media, calling him a deadbeat piece of shit, doesn't want anything to do with his kid. And everyone at this workplace where I was working was eating it up. And like in the kind of because like I say, I'm a big car lover, and the kind of car scene, I see all these people commenting on social media, oh yeah, it's crazy what he done to you. And I was sat there knowing the full truth, going, hang on a fucking minute. Yeah. You showed me messages of you mutually agreeing with him. He said, look, I'm sorry this has happened. What do you want to do? I'm not ready. I want nothing to do with it. Not because he was evil. He wasn't ready for it. It was a mistake. It happened. Yeah. She wanted to keep it. She should have to deal with it. And And that's what happened. And then after, the amount of shit this guy was getting, he was getting slammed on Facebook, Instagram. He had family members that didn't want to talk to him after and shit like that. All because of the lies she said. And obviously everyone believed her. Everyone believed her. No one believed it. And I was sat there knowing the truth, but knowing until now,
Yeah.
if I said anything about it, loads of people's going to hate on me. But you know what? Fuck yeah. Because
mate, I mean,
it's one of them.
But that's another big thing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That could be. It's just again, like I said, mate. If you throw enough shit, someone's going to stick there, and it's like. But that's another thing, a topic I think we should touch on as well. Like it's like you said, you knew that, and you could maybe like backed him up, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, not you.
But like it is. It's one of them.
When you know something, and
I sat there and thought, how much shit am I going to get for this?
Yeah. And
but I should have, really.
Exactly.
I should have.
Mate, I've done that.
Exactly.
Like the missus and she, and I should have said something at the time.
And this is how we understand what you guys are going through. We've done it. I should have said something. I should have gone in on a fucking minute.
Yeah.
But the thing is, where already there was hundreds of people all coming to our aid, I knew as soon as I speak out, I was like, that's it, I'm fucked. I'm going to be ridiculed for this. So I had to just,
But again, that's kind of that thing, where we could come back to that next time as well. But like that's that pressure in society, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You could be a fucking good dude, or you could be a good guy. But as soon as someone goes, he's the first on a Coke, or just have a drink. Do you know what I mean? That's it, bang. You get that one little taste. Do you know what I mean? And then that peer pressure or that society pressure. Do you know what I mean? And then that, like you said before, it. I won't walk away from this relationship because then or I'm not going to do it. Do you know what I mean? So that's another big thing, man. Like pressure.
It's like everyone says, you're accountable for your own actions. But because I said this on Just Proudly Things, like you said, like good men can become bad. And it was divided because a lot of them went, yeah, but you're accountable for your own actions. You're like, you're right. But if you've got a Rottweiler sat in a yard and for a year every day you walk past and prod him with a stick and he growls at you, and every day you go past and you prod him again and you prod him again, and then finally he jumps over and fucking rips your arm off. Who are you going to blame?
Exactly,
because it's like everyone would go, oh, that dog, what he's done, right, get him put down. That's the society we live in. But really, everyone deep down would know, well, it's your. Why were you prodding him with the stick for? You're idiot. And that's the thing. When people say, oh, why did he go in and rob that shop? He's accountable for his own actions. It's like, but you don't know. The friend group could have been threatening him to do it.
Well,
and stuff.
It's
a hard one to get.
Or fucking, you're trying to feed his kids or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not
society's changed.
He might be trying to get his next fix because he's a fucking crackhead, or that. It could be like, he can't afford to feed his kids, so you think or anything, man. But again, that's
there's things people don't really necessarily think about, but they need to think.
Well, that's it, and as much as like we said, when you're in that situation where something happens or some shit, but like I said, you don't know what's caused that person to. They could have been given the fucking worst news ever, or it's little things, So
everyone's got their own battles.
You've got give and take, mate. And I think I think we just got to, like, as society, to sort of, I don't know, man, just fucking chill a bit.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I know it's easier said than done, but
But that's what we're here for. But I think for today, guys, we've covered on that topic a bit. If you have any questions or queries or anything like that, or something you disagreed with, email us. Message on YouTube. You've seen us been putting up our kind of personal ones and stuff like that. Check us out, follow us. But anything to do with the show, please message over on the YouTube or the email, because if you're messaging on our. But if you're a guy that needs help, I'm sure both of us wouldn't mind if you're trying to reach out at all. But please try to actually message on our email, because that's where we can join, kind of look it up and kind of get the best help or questions and answers or whatever you need.
But also, like you said, mate, if there's something that you just want to drop us a quick DM on TikTok or something, or comment on any of our videos, mate. Like I said, the Tattoo Gentleman, and Chan Talks. We're both on TikTok, so just give us a shout and.
We'll get back to it. But going on in the future as well, obviously loads of these are going to be live, so you'll be able to talk to us live. Also on the next one, I'll drop in the link for the studio we're using, so then I can actually QR code you that you can scan, and you can come onto the private chat on here and actually send messages through why we're doing the show, and we can get back to you on that. We are live on TikTok and stuff like that. For today, we're not necessarily answering the questions on TikTok, but in the future we'll be live streaming on all these social media platforms, and then we can pick out kind of questions and stuff like that. But don't forget to like and subscribe on the FRV podcast on YouTube, and go follow me, Chan Talks, on TikTok and on Rumble. and go and follow at the Tattoo Gentleman on Facebook and TikTok. Amazing things are coming, guys. So you've got to stay tuned on this. But yeah, don't be afraid to speak out, and we'll see you on the next